about them Eagles, baby. Whoa, man, I tell you. You know what's great about today? Oh, here is a lesson for you guys, too, right out of the gate, media-wise. Oh, hit the like button. Super chats go to the top. Here's a lesson for you. And I'm here to help you. You know why the owner of the Eagles was glowing over Jalen Hurts yesterday? Because Tim McManus and others at ESPN gave him a heads up that a hit piece was coming out on Jalen Hurts. That's called professional courtesy on what you do when a hit piece is coming out on a player or a person so that they can respond. The owner of the football team, Jeffrey Lurie, that's why he went the way he did. I'm not saying he doesn't like Hurts, but that's the reason that he went all in Phoenix yesterday by giving you that bullshit that he said about Jalen Hurts. And by the way, we now know this. I'm going to read this article. I'm going to read it. And we're going to listen to it because this is shit I've been telling you for 5 years. 5 years. We now know this. The RPO is out of the offense because Hurts wants it out of the offense. Jalen Hurts is not running anymore because Jalen Hurts doesn't want to run any longer. Jalen Hurts doesn't want to throw across the middle of the field. That's Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts doesn't want to throw to wide receiver 3. That's Jalen Hurts. All of this is on the back of the quarterback on being coached. It's on him. Finally, some accountability. And all your bullshit about offensive coordinators, there is no doubt people in Philly and the organization have had it with his bullshit. That's what this comes out to. By the way, when somebody writes a piece like this that has a key fob in the Eagle organization, somebody told him this. And you know who I'm saying told him? Jeff Stoutland. That looks like Jeff Stoutland told these media people all they needed to know. This looks like Jeff Stoutland right there. Jeff Stoutland said all this stuff to the media. Where else would they get this? You think Jeremy Fowler and Tim McManus and these guys make this shit up? They don't make this stuff up. This is how they make a living. Now, let's go for the indictment of Jalen Hurts. And let's go, and I'll tell you what, we'll all dissect pieces of this. This thing's an expose of the quarterback in Philadelphia. We go. Here's the headline. Tim McManus and Jeremy Fowler. Inside Eagles 2025 friction as Jalen Hurts stands at crossroads. The play was supposed to save the season. Instead, it encapsulated its pain. The Philadelphia Eagles are teetering, poised for a Jenga-like collapse in front of a fanatical home crowd. And again, with the challenges of 2025 of the football season hanging in the balance. With 43 seconds left in the wild card playoff game against the 49ers, offensive coordinator Kevin Batuto fiddled with his red pen, scanning his play sheet. Quarterback Jalen Hurts stood in front of him, leaning in to speak to his play caller. Sirianni was nearby listening to the chatter. Few assistants of backup quarterback Tanner McKee were in earshot. Patullo addressed Hurts and Sirianni directly, suggesting what happened to be a play call for a game-deciding fourth down. Sirianni made eye contact with KP and then looked at Hurts as if to have an open input from the quarterback. A brief deliberation resulted in the simplest of a football plan, a play known as four verts, which the Eagles had just run on the previous play. But this time, the 49ers are all over it. With three defenders collapsing and tight end Dallas Goedert over the middle for a failed attempt to win and recapture their own playoff magic. Let's move down. As one team source recalled, Hurts was the one who recommended the four verts. A separate source with knowledge of the situation says that though the Eagle quarterback did suggest it, it was simply responding to a question about his preference. And I agree. The coach could have overruled it. Nick Sirianni could have said this. No effing way. But he didn't. That's incompetence of the coach. Either way, not everyone with the offense was thrilled. I was like, oh my God, this is not happening. One team source said, we can't run four verts. That's Stoutland. Though it's unclear what other plays were considered, if any, Sirianni ultimately approved Hurts' suggestion. It's totally on the coach. That's a Nick Sirianni moment. Within seconds, the plan and a premature offensive offseason vacation was in motion. The failed play accentuates the crossroads that awaits Hurts and the Eagle coaching staff for 26. How you doing? How are you doing? You're welcome. The passing operation has fallen into deep ruts over the past several seasons, forcing the most expensive offensive roster in football to become overly reliant on the success of Saquon Barkley in the ground game. You're welcome. It has become and been an ongoing source of angst and for people internally, most publicly expressed by star receiver A.J. Brown. A subject of trade talks this entire offseason. Some of that growing frustration in 25 was directed at Hurts. Team sources said, including by Brown, whose long-standing relationship with the quarterback has been tested, to say the least, over the last 4 years in Philadelphia. We continue. This is an expose on your quarterbacking coach. Close observe. By the way, these are my words, not my story. Close observers point to the lack of creativity and synergy in the Eagles' attack. You're welcome. The pass game wasn't always properly tied to the run game, and there's a level of predictability. You're welcome again. That allows opposing defenses to get a bead on what's coming next. Man, this is just echoing what we've been saying for the last 3 years. Though there is plenty of blame to spread, Hurts has had a hand in the offense becoming mediocre, according to several team sources who spoke to ESPN. He has pushed back on changes that would diversify the scheme. He doesn't want to be coached. That's a player who doesn't want to be coached. This better be an April Fool's joke. I can only hope. The player doesn't want to be coached. He has pushed back on changes that would diversify the scheme. Team sources, including when it comes to him under center, he's against it. He has shown a reluctancy to let it rip at times. That's AJ, particularly against zone coverages. He constantly diverts from the game plan and changes play calls to what some feel is in an excessive degree. He doesn't follow what the coaches are drawing up for him. This guy doesn't want to be coached anymore. His strong preference, coupled with coach's efforts to play to his strengths, which includes deep ball accuracy and throws to the perimeter, limit the offense to expand. Or at least that's the way it's gone in the past. They're trying to expand his game. He doesn't want to do it. Jalen Hurts doesn't want to be coached. Enter new offensive coordinator, Sean Mannion, who replaces Patullo and is implementing a system in the Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan mode, a scheme that leans into motion and under center play action. Two facets Hurts and the Eagles have not embraced under Sirianni. It sets up a dynamic in which the Super Bowl MVP will be forced to adapt to the strength of the future of where the Eagles offense wants to go. Hurts has led the Eagles to impressive heights, working this way from the bench quarterback at Alabama to a second pick and a three-time Pro Bowler. He has come through and persevered through constant offensive coordinator changes and has established a standard in the building. His steely resolve can be both a benefit and hindrance as to the face of the franchise. Force fields are good for keeping unnecessary distractions out, but add some connective issues, allowing essential items in. Sirianni has compared Hurts' leadership to the style of Michael Jordan. Now you get some of the comments in the locker room. Poor body language, not always bought in. Not the most coachable in players. Notice this all the time. He is not approachable and he's not coachable. And he's got poor body language. The body language thing I don't give a shit about. He's not always bought in and he's not coachable. That's the thing right there. Not coachable. You don't get shit. You don't get shit. Mannion will be Hurts' sixth play caller since the quarterback entered the league in 2020. Patullo was fired at season's end after overseeing an offense that went through from 8th to 24th. Though Patullo was well liked and respected in the building, there was a lot of noise that was not doing a good job, and some people started to believe it. According to team sources, who added that there were players who lost faith in Kevin Patullo. A source close to Hurts said the quarterback needs coaches who will check him. Make sure he's on pace and on page and on the same page. Hurts had too many yes people around him this past season. So Hurts likes yes men around him. And here's what I told you about Tim McManus and Jeremy Fowler. The Eagles declined to comment on the story. Jeffrey Lurie knew this story was coming out. That's why he glazed donut Jalen Hurts. ESPN interviewed more than a dozen players and sources to pull back the curtain on the Eagles and the quarterback. Less than 14 months ago, Hurts was enjoying a star turn that will live in Eagles folklore forever. Super Bowl MVP, what have you. But in the midst of the championship season, Hurts' resistant change showed up at times in the building. Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator in 2024, had tried to implement a new offensive concept that Hurts did not always embrace per multiple team sources. Get this. You ready for that? Jalen Hurts' ignorance and his non-willing to coach and be coached led to the Super Bowl. I'm going to read that line again to you. The Jalen McNabb era is over. This is what happens when you got spineless coaches on offense. It gets Sellers next year. Listen to what I'm going to say to you. Jalen Hurts is arrogance, and his unwillingness to be coached led to the Super Bowl. Here. Listen to what we're saying here. No, excuse me. What has been written here. Kellen Moore, the Eagles' offensive coordinator in 2024, had tried to implement new offensive concepts that Hurts did not always embrace. First 4 games. Per multiple team sources, one of the sources said they believed the changes concerning motion and shifts, recalling that Hurts was not receptive to the idea. A third team source said Hurts was willing to experiment with new wrinkles in 24, but they were not paying off immediately. He was quick to pivot and express his discomfort. Taking the ball out of his hands led to the Super Bowl. Moore and Hurts seemed to find a compromise, successfully implementing 279 plays with motion during the 2024 season. Good for 11th in the league. Moore ran much more in 2025 with the Saints, with over 373 motion plays, 6th in the league, compared to the Eagles' 237, which was 26th in the league. Those talks did not seem to affect Philly's running back, Saquon Barkley. Broke off 17 rushes for 20 or more yards and 7 of at least 40 yards on his way to eclipsing a 2,000 season. But the Eagle passing game was not diversified, finishing a pedestrian 3rd worst in pro football in 24. Multiple team sources described the relationship between Moore and Hurts in 24 as tense. He hated the offensive coordinator that brought him the most fucking success as a team. Think about that. Jalen Hurts hated the coach that brought the team the most success. Hated the team. Hated the coach that brought him the most success. Not my words. Moore's work with the Philadelphia Eagles earned him a Saints job, which meant another coordinator for Hurts. The Eagles promoted Kevin Patullo, the passing game coordinator, who had developed good relationship with key players in the building. Hurts included. Sirianni decided it was Patullo's time to maintain a close relationship dating to their time together in Indianapolis. So he hired his buddy. The Eagles' offense under Patullo in 25 never found its footing. Patullo was under heavy scrutiny almost immediately. The offensive line wasn't as good, partly because of injuries. The running game suffered as a result, and Barkley, breaking off 4 runs of 20 or more yards one season, was over. We didn't look as fast on offense compared to 24. During his change towards the rushing title in 24, Barkley acknowledged that if you ask any running back, they'd probably say under center runs pistol. It's a lot easier. You're able to get downfield quicker. But the beauty of this team is that we have Jalen Hurts, whose running ability kept defenses honest, and it freed up Barkley. Hurts, though, set a career low in 2025 in carries with 105, rushing at 421. The reasons for Hurts' dip in rushing attempts last season varies depending on who you ask. One team source said Hurts healthy over the long term, both for the season and his career, was a factor. That's his agent. Another cited the defense that adjusted to spread formations, loaded the box, and daring Hurts to throw. Nobody respects the guy as a passer. Who would? Who in their right mind would respect that guy as a passer? Without Barkley's runs to keep safeties in the box, Hurts often had to try to win games with his arm to mixed results. He faced zone coverages, long considered a Hurts weakness by some scouts and defensive coaches in the league. On 56.2% of the Eagles' offensive plays, the second highest of his career, his completion percentage against zone, 69%, was significantly better than against man at 59%. It was the impact plays that changed dramatically in the other direction. Hurts threw 19 touchdowns to 3 interceptions against man coverage, to 6 touchdowns and 3 picks against zone. That holds up over his career, with 77 of his 110 TD passes coming against man. Brown said he knew he had a chance to be predominantly featured when facing a man-heavy team. But when a defender forced tight window throws via zone coverage, AJ disappears. There's your problem with your passing game. There's your problem. This guy can't throw tight windows. Get this. This guy's saying the hate's real, and I'm reading an article. The hate's real? By reading the truth? Dude, I'm reading an article. I didn't write this. The messenger stinks. Too fucking bad. Hey, you hate the message, huh? They're just echoing me now. Too bad. We continue. Hurts' rigid preference became an issue again this season. Team sources citing Petula's desire to get Hurts under center more often for rushing efficiency and play action purposes. Playing from under center is something Hurts continually fights. They want the guy to go under center. He refuses. Can't coach him. Why? I'm a super hater because I'm reading an article that was in ESPN today on your team. Doomer Dan, I didn't write it. These aren't my sources. Dude, I didn't write this. Why are you mad at me? Why are you mad at me? I'm silly for what? Reading a story to you that people who cover your football team? Now you're blaming the media? Now you're blaming the media. You blame the coordinators. You blame the injuries. Now you're blaming the media for Hurts. You people are sad. You Jalenites are so full of shit. Your eyes are brown. You will absolutely go to the hilt and blame every human being you can for this guy's inabilities, or what I call deficiencies and limitations. You will do everything to blame everybody but the guy himself. Some of you are sad as shit, man. It's pathetic. You are pathetic. Let's continue with a guy's story on your boy Hurts. Continually fights playing under center. Inside the building, one source said Hurts doesn't like to turn his back on the defense and prefers to process coverages with everything in front of him. This guy's not a drop back quarterback. This guy can't play under center. He can't play under center. He can't read defenses. He doesn't throw across the middle, and he has no screen game. And he's elite. And he's elite. This story just gets better. It's like validation. It's like validation day. Here, let me, here, I don't want to read all the bullshit. Here. The traditional Eagles attack reliant on shotgun formation only to be asked later to implement more under center work. Hurts is unafraid to advocate for himself or the offense for those settings. A source added, because players need to get on the same page throughout the offseason, coaches broached some of the no huddle concepts during training camps. He didn't want to embrace it. Hurts will change plays when he sees fit. I didn't think the guy ever changed plays. You guys, get this. Do you know who your shitty play caller is? Jalen Hurts. Here. Hurts will change plays when sees fit. Kevin Petula calls it. How do you know if Kevin Petula was a bad coach? When Jalen Hurts doesn't want to be coached. Hurts is changing plays that coaches and analytic people are putting together for a game plan, and he changes the plays. Whew. Guy's uncoachable. At least Carson Wentz was coachable. Hurts will change plays when he sees fit. Though many established quarterbacks have such freedom, especially at the line of scrimmage when noticing a defensive tendency, some within the team consider his changes excessive at times. This is Jeff Stoutland talking here. A key example came in a close seconds of a 10-7 win against the Green Bay Packers in November. Sirianni's questionable decision to go for it on 4th and 6 from Green Bay's 35-yard line with 33 seconds left, holding a 3-point lead, which I killed Sirianni for. The team was up and leading the Packers, and they were out of timeouts. And again, by the play choice, a deep shot to Brown down the field and down the sideline fell incomplete. Sirianni covered for them, but the cameras caught him mouthing, "Why?" Following the long pass, Smith acknowledged to ESPN afterwards that 1st and 11, Hurts and Brown made the decision to go for the kill shot. Eagles offensive players know Hurts isn't afraid to change plays he doesn't like and must adjust accordingly to a team source. Adding a separate team source, you never know what play is coming out of the huddle. You have no idea. His occasional collaboration with Hurts aside, Brown couldn't mask his frustrations with the offensive dynamic. His sideline demeanor and social media messages became a weekly conversation. Multiple team sources say they never saw Brown and Hurts engage in an argument during the season and were professional throughout the year, but both also tend to internalize issues, which leads to a lack of communication. Clearing the air probably hasn't happened or won't happen. Hurts and Brown have no relationship. What are you mad at me for? I didn't write it. I didn't get all these former coaches and players. What are you mad at me for? Brown and Hurts were once considered best friends, but veteran defensive end Brandon Graham suggested in the latter stages of 24 season that the relationship frayed. Though both Hurts and Brown downplayed it, the team source said word began circulating within the organization around the time that things weren't good between the two. You're right. A.J. Brown won't be traded. These guys fucking hate each other, and they won't be traded. You might want to win, but your way might not be different, might be different than mine. I told you that. A.J. Brown wants to win his way, not Jalen Hurts' way. There was a shift in their public behavior toward each other in the latter stages of this past season. Their sideline communication increased, as did the touchdown celebrations. AJ and I have talked. We're in a great place, Hurts said during the locker room clean-out day in January. Multiple Eagle players, including Hurts, appeared frustrated that winning was not perceived as good enough in the public eye because of the magnified offensive struggles, according to a team source. Here is what Jalen's saying. Why are you upset with the offense when we win? There's something to that. There's something to that. I won't lie to that. Okay? There is something to that. Who gives a shit how it looks? If you win, I might buy that. I might buy that. But then why change? I might totally buy that. I might say, hey, look, well, wait a minute. If I got this great win percentage and we're winning, who gives a shit? Hey, Sil, so the reason for his success was Kelsey, Steichen, and Barkley. He's the reason Hurts' deficiencies have been covered up, hence offensive sucking in the past 2 years. Yes. Howie Roseman. By the way, Nick might be a good coach. Nick Sirianni might be a good coach. He's got a quarterback that is protected by the owner, and they can't coach. And he can't be coached. I don't know. But Nick should have some balls and say, run the fucking play. This is my team. A.J. Brown's comments a month later. You can't keep slapping a Band-Aid over the offensive issues proved to be true, as the Eagles' deficiencies led to an early playoff exit and significant schematic changes this offseason. Some of those changes might prove uncomfortable, but Sirianni, perhaps Hurts' most staunch public supporter, says he believes the system will largely fit Hurts' skill set, which is not true. If you're saying they're going to run a lot more play action, a little more outside zone, a little more boot action of that, he's been really productive in that play action pass game. We haven't run as many boots and nakeds here in the past, but I know he's good at those when he has. This is Sirianni on Hurts in February. I must have missed that. One team source says Hurts is as open as ever been to the changes. A pattern emerges. If you look closely at Hurts' career, a source close to him pointed out, he is at his best when he has something to prove. That was the case when he arrived at Alabama and the whole Tagovailoa scenario, or the challenges of all that dealt with Carson Wentz. Here, difficult conversations continue between Hurts and members of the organization this past season, a team source said. Even members of the inner circle, Hurts played a part in it and what went wrong last year and addressed it with them. Justified or not, there was a level of consternation in pockets of the 25 team dating to the summer. The city is still basking in the championship, fresh off their Super Bowl ring ceremony. A team source said team described the state of affairs as a disaster and indicated Hurts was part of the issue, noting that whatever personality traits rubbed people the wrong way before has since grown since the championship year. Oh, man, oh, man. In Moore, he had a coach who, according to team sources, was a matter of fact about how the offense would function. And in correction, Hurts mistakes when necessary. It was a similar dynamic with Steichen when lines were more blurred, like the 23 season when Hurts and Sirianni and then Brian Johnson weren't aligned in their visions. So the guy who got in the way of Brian Johnson was Nick Sirianni. That wasn't Jalen Hurts. Nick had a problem here. When the lines were blurred, like in 23, when Hurts, Sirianni, and then OC Brian Johnson weren't aligned with their visions. Hurts had more of a tendency to search for answers outside of the game plan and outside of the organization. He is now paired with an inexperienced but well-regarded coach in Mannion, a 33-year-old quarterback who broke into the coaching ranks in 24 with the Packers most recently. If Brown is playing elsewhere in 26, Smith becomes the primary receiver. And like Brown, Smith has had his own frustrations last season. Mainly a source with knowledge of the situation said the lack of layups in the offense. Every catch, every play is a grind it out. I told you, Jalen Hurts makes the receivers work hard because he doesn't throw on time. But Smith handles his frustrations differently than Brown. He's more on the side of conversation. where Brown isn't. I didn't write that. What's your takeaway? Who do you blame now? Who do you blame now? Who are you blaming? She goes, do you think Hurts and Nicole Lynn might try to leverage the fallout from this story into a contract extension for the Eagles? He doesn't deserve an extension. Seals, the infamous quarterback factory will resume production in the draft. Kim, I say that's Jeff Stoutland doing that. When you got that kind of detail, that's Jeff Stoutland. That's an opinion. That's either Jeff Stoutland or Kellen Moore or Brian Johnson or Sean Desai or Kevin Patullo. How's Kevin Patullo to blame when the quarterback doesn't want to do what they're coaching him to do? Let me read these crazy excuses for that. I blame dumb fans who don't know shit about football and are just casuals following the blind. And this isn't fake news, Hurts apologist. You just hate the truth when it's staring you in the face. Lurie and Hurts are to blame. Lurie for protecting him and Hurts for having low character. All I hear is a coward who won't paste his name onto an article. So, okay, that's a good point. Let's see who wrote this. Go over here. And let's go here. So, Tim McManus and Jeremy Fowler, who have access to the Philadelphia Eagle locker room and their press section and their press box. You believe, Cover, that those guys jeopardize their careers for printing a false story about Jalen Hurts and the head coach and the coordinators. You believe those guys would put their jobs on the line for one story and having access to the Eagles. You believe that. So then, according to you then, Cover, Bob Lang's going to revoke their press credentials now for posting a false story. Right? Hey, once again, where's Prince? Hey, Prince, don't get fucking pissed off at me because all the shit I've been telling you about your dude is now coming to a head. You can blame and say all the bullshit you want about me, guy. These are people that cover your football team. I didn't write that story. This is all shit that's been said before about the guy, and you can keep posting away as much as you want. I don't give a shit what you think, dude. You don't want to hear the truth. That's fine. That's fine. Your comments are not true. Seals, you were right the whole entire time. Talent can mask a lot of quarterbacks' deficiencies, even if Hurts has some strengths. But it shows why he was benched in college. Do you know why he was benched in college? Here's a couple things. The talent level under Saban at Alabama, okay, was never going to ever be less than it ever was with him or without him. So it was on equal footing who was a better player, Tagovailoa at the time or Hurts at the time. And it was a no-brainer. He got beat out by a true freshman. Do you understand? A year before that, the guy was playing in Hawaii somewhere. Hurts got beat out by a true freshman who 7 months earlier was playing high school football and at a prom. And he was the reigning SEC Player of the Year. A freshman quarterback beat him out. Beat him out. You know why? The talent on the football team was the same. The only thing that was different was the quarterback's talents. Twiz, Nick Sirianni said he has his hand in the offense. Nick said for Jalen to protect the ball at all times, and Jalen said himself playing scared is not a way. Attack is what Jalen wants. That's college, buddy. Where's to it? That has no bearing. Okay. Hey, Dawn, a lesser player beat Hurts out. Insubordinate Hurts. Nick is the one who's been in the straitjacket. It's starting to seem that. Get that what that one guy said. Where's Tua now? Tua's benched. He's in Atlanta as a backup. Hurts got beat out by a stiff then, right? What do I have to do with any of this? I'm a hater. You people are excuse makers. And I don't mean all of you. I mean about 10% of you. You're all excuse makers. And by the way, I'm not even reading it. I just see him posting away here. But guys, get this. Guys like that who come in here and talk to me instead about the story, I don't really care and I have no interest in conversing. I have no interest in that. I have no interest in a conversation with that. Your quarterback has been called out on a hit piece. Your organization, here's what's going to happen also. In the next 3 days, you're going to hear teammates on the team coming out in support of Jalen. You're going to hear coaches. Bob Lang's going to have press conferences. There's going to be a plethora of cleanup on this story. And the fabulous five that get called into their corner by Bob Lang are going to be fed propaganda. And you're all going to bite it. Not all. The 10% of you in here that keep the algorithm that we love going is going to here. Let me see. Let me check out and see if we have here. Let's see. Let me go over to their X account, Eagles. Let me see if we have any of that process beginning now. Let's see, Eagles. Let's see, Midnight Green. Earlier this week, we made a decision to remove a social media post. What was this? What was this about? Oh, I don't know. Here we go. Oh, here's Jeffrey Lurie talking about how much love that he has for Jalen Hurts at the annual meeting. Let's see. Nothing yet. So next couple days, you'll start to see this stuff start to come up now where you're going to get a lot of propaganda. AJ's making the Eagle brand look bad? By what? Telling the truth? Wow. AJ Brown's the bad guy for telling the truth. This is exactly what I talk to you guys about all the time. You hate the truth. You utterly hate the truth. Who's this? Who's that? You mean to tell me you'll take some freaking guy who's never played or has any connections to Jeremy Fowler or any of these guys? Oh my God. That guy is a buffoon. So this is bigger than Hurts. Our CEO coach has mismanaged this thing. Of course he has. He doesn't have a sack of balls because they clip him and they basically neutered Nick Sirianni. You got a neutered coach and you got a quarterback who doesn't want to be coached. Facts. Seals, do you think this story could end up being a positive for Hurts' development? Maybe. Maybe. AJ was onto something. Jalen's spoiled by organization. They did the same shit to Carson Wentz. Where the hell was it said coming from Jalen he doesn't want to be coached? So, again, let me see where this story has been placed to at ESPN. This morning it was on the front page of the ESPN. Here it is. Now it's the second story. Now you have Stephen A. saying, has some words about the saga going on with Hurts and the Eagles. And on the front page, when you click over to Eagles, there it is. Inside friction between Hurts and the Eagles. You people are obnoxious who think these guys are making this shit up. You just don't want to hear the truth, man. This guy wins in spite of the talent around him like he did when he was at Alabama. He's been at places with loaded talent everywhere. You put that guy in the Jets, he's fucking Justin Fields. With better accuracy. You put that guy in a losing team, he'll never win a game again above 500. He'll never be on a football team above 500 if you put that guy on a team with lesser talent. You put him in Tennessee, he won't win 6 games. Fowler said several people in the organization point to Hurts. I have great respect for Jeremy Fowler. Isn't it crazy, James? Hey, James, have I been telling you about this for what, 5 years? Now, everyone, it's their story. Front page of ESPN. That dude wins in spite of all the great talent around him. He's mediocre. No, I'll take that back. He's not mediocre. He's a good player. He's a good player. The Eagles have their own press corps. They are now setting the table in tone for a rebuild. You and some of us have been saying this for a while now. We were the Jets in 21, made the playoffs 9-8. Great. You got great football players. If this was a positive article, you would have called it BS, but since it's not, you're wetting your underwear. Dude, it's the front page of a major company that is partners with the NFL. The NFL owns 5% of ESPN. Excuse me, 10% of ESPN. Do you think a company that's owned 10% of the NFL is going to put a story out that's a false lie? Here, let me double check that. How much does the NFL own percentage-wise? How much does the NFL percentage-wise own ESPN? 10%. Here you go. As of February 26th, NFL owns 10% equity stake in ESPN. They got a seat at the board of directors table. So you think a company is going to write a story and talk shit on a business partner? How in God's name do you put that out there like that? Chills, when you were at the top of your game, would you accept coaching from a coach who didn't bring anything to the table? Hurts needs a coach with a better resume to train him to be a pro. If I had a football coach in my building, like I went from, I don't really think I've ever had shitty coaches in the NFL or college. Maryland, we won the ACC, and at Miami, I had exceptional coaches. When I got to the Bucks were a bad organization. Ray Perkins was a good coach. I had blind faith in my coaches that they were going to put me in the wrong place. I mean, in the right place. How do you convince a billionaire he's wrong? You don't. Simmer down. You should listen to your Hall of Fame. Are you under the impression those Hall of Fame friends aren't wrong? Hey, why don't you stop making excuses for your boy? Stop blaming coordinators and coaches and other players. And he's limited. Thanks, Gabe. Appreciate it, though. Guys giving me and telling me to simmer down because he don't want to hear what everyone, no, not everyone, what I've been saying for 5 years. He wins in spite. Okay? Okay? This upcoming season is going to be good. We will learn a lot from this team. There you go. So Sil's smarter than the Hall of Fame people. I didn't write the fucking story. I didn't write that. Dude, I didn't write that thing. I didn't put that expose out there. I didn't do that. You guys have been hammering me for my opinion. My shit was opinions. These people are around the organization. They're talking to teammates. They're talking to former coaches. What are you talking about? Smarter than this. Are you crazy? I had a bet. A lead columnist for the NFL and the Eagles put the story out. Sills, you're credited as a source, though. Stout never mentioned Hurts one time on Foles' show. Why would he? Seals, being uncoachable makes no sense. That doesn't mean anything, man. You said you've been in it before them, though. What? I have been in it. I have. I've been saying these things for 5 years. I didn't write this story, I said. What are you not listening to, buffoon? And you remind me of Christy Nome's husband. Everyone, according to everyone, Hurts holds his team back, trade him and start McKee. No, 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 no. That's not what that article says. Okay? Well, here, you can come do the show then. You can come do the show then. Jalen was never the same after he got paid. We all saw it many times on national TV. But the story is all you want. This is all anybody's talking about. Hurts' fanboys are in denial. Sills has been telling you the truth, but some of you are too tied to your feelings. Seals, your take is accurate. McManus reputed sources. 26 will be a tell-all for Sirianni. Laurie loves Hurts. His rope may be a little longer. Absolutely. When Jalen is eventually traded and we have Bobby Hoeing in the huddle, you guys will be eating your crow. Why? I'll get a guy like Sam Darnold. I'll get Sam Darnold. He won a Super Bowl. Here, let me ask you something, Forrest. Forrest, you think Hurts is a better quarterback than Sam Darnold? Okay? This is right. Thanks, Sue. Sills reads another person's article and gets crushed. That's exactly right. I'm reading someone else's article and you crushed me for it? Why? Okay. Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold just won the Super Bowl. Sam Darnold's done things in his last 2 years, that Hurts has never done. Individually, ever. Never thrown for $3,000, never thrown for 30 touchdowns. Yeah, look. What he wants to do is he wants to deflect it away from Jalen. Yeah. All these Jalenites don't want this. This story is the worst thing ever to happen because you know why? Now it's just not me talking or John. By the way, John has also said this stuff. And John McMullen walks in the building too. You know why John McMullen gets a chance to walk into the building and saying the things that he says? Because the people in the building know it's true. Thanks for being here for a half-ass show. Funny how when Lurie invested in Hurts, he got a Super Bowl win. Dude, I think any quarterback could have won that game with that team. That's what they're saying in that article. If Hurts doesn't look better this year and this thing goes sideways, he won't be back. Hey, how come this? Let's see something here. When was Jalen Hurts? Let's see something here. How many quarterbacks have had their contracts restructured since Jalen Hurts signed his contract? Let's see here. Here's the list of quarterbacks since Jalen Hurts signed his quarterback in 23 that have restructured deals. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Jared Goff, Trevor Lawrence, Brock Purdy, Jordan Love. All of these players have restructured or signed new contract extensions. How come they haven't restructured contract? And Dak Prescott. How come they haven't touched Jalen Hurts' contract? If he's so deserving of more money, why don't you give him more? Why haven't you made him the highest paid quarterback in pro football? Anybody? Why haven't they made that guy the highest paid player? He's more accomplished than Prescott. Timing is everything? Well, wait a minute. You got a contract coming up with Jalen Carter. Don't you think maybe releasing some of the money and taking some of the load off of Hurts' cap hits the coming year and reducing that for all the guys you got to sign? Why don't you restructure his contract? Why haven't you restructured his contract? Any quarterback feels interesting. So the drive-by media would get Gardner Minshew with this offense. I never said Gardner Minshew. Hey, now here's another guy that's pissed off at the messenger. Shady already said they're not paying him again. Someone in the front office told him that shit. Hurts' contract was signed with the restructure already included, but does not deserve an extension. When was that? He's got no guaranteed money at the end of this year. What are you talking about? There's an out in his contract. Dude, stop with this Tanner shit. Stop with that Tanner stuff. So please invite Farzi on and have the Hurts debate. You're a realist and Farzi is a Hurts ball washer. I want to see it. Let's see here. Thanks, Bet. Appreciate it. Let me see here with somebody that's got some brains. This might be the show that ends it for me. I watch because it's funny how much you absolutely... I don't hate the Eagles. But now you're creaming over the lies. Don't worry, kid. I'm sure you were the same guy that was ball washing Wentz. It's okay, dude. Hey, man, listen. One more time. I put this out as a PSA on my Twitter page, my X account. This was not going to be friendly today for you Jalenites and for guys like you, dude. Bill Cunnilingus and all of those other shows at WIP that don't hold the city accountable for anymore, like what they don't do when it comes to Harry Callis and all this other stuff, and their mouthpieces for the Eagles. There's shows for you, dude. You can go over there, join the cheerleading group, and it's okay. This is not someplace for a dude that this is. I'm not drafting you into the military draft. If you don't want to hear it, and by the way, for the record, my friend, you see a dude like this, instead of me blocking this asshole, I don't have to. I let him come here and vent and put his dumb shit up. The same thing here with this dumbass. Here, I let these guys all do this. You know why? This is a place that you can come and feel free to say whatever you want. You may not agree. I don't block you. I don't send you away. I never do that. I don't do that. If you tried that shit over on WIP, they would block you, never put you on. None of that. So if you think this place is not for you, then whatever. But what I do, okay? I mean, simple. Look, I love Prince. I totally do. I have a problem with him. Seals, my point was Hurts was not uncoachable under Saban. He had no choice, or he'd bench his ass, and he did. Crying? Yeah, that's what I do. I think the people you need to look at who are crying are over here. Hey, I knew this wasn't going to be a popular day for me. I don't care. I have no caring. I could care less. This is a wonderful day for me. You know why? Because other people are now saying what I've been saying for 5 years. I don't care. Major people who are credentialed in the National Football League with major connections into the league. Do you understand people like Jeremy Fowler and guys like Tim McManus are all on a chain when these contracts are released? And there's like 10 people, and those guys are part of it. Diana Rossini gets all the information, all these guys. And it's a really small group. Jeremy Fowler is one of them. Says you push bullshit for clicks. I didn't write that story. I'm not pushing bullshit. I read a story. How am I pushing for? I didn't write it. Those aren't my sources. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do that. I haven't even picked up my topic pages because I knew you'd have meltdowns. Right. I didn't put it out. Stephen A. Smith is now. Everybody, first take. Funny. I'll tell you what I'd like a lot. You know what I really dig? I've been saying it for 5 years. Now everybody's going to make it their own. People will forget that we did it here. It's okay. But you know the cool thing is, Zander? I got all this shit on video. You can go back in the archives. When you guys were calling me and saying all this bullshit, they're now saying it too. A lot of one-lane highway thinking in the comments today, all wrapped up in feelings. Beautiful take. That's right. How am I full of shit? I didn't write the article. What are you mad at me about, guy? Hey, turd face. What are you mad at me about right now? I'm curious. I'd like to know. Hey, turd face. Why are you mad at me? Oh, I know. Hey, by the way, Sam Darnold and Jalen Hurts proved me wrong. You're right. I didn't think both guys would ever win a Super Bowl. I never thought Sam Darnold and Jalen Hurts would win a Super Bowl. They proved me wrong. Hey, Turd Box, whatever that guy's name is. Why are you mad at me? Well, why are you mad at me, Turd Box? I mean, hey, Turd Box, why are you mad at me? Where's Turd Face? What happened to Turd Face? Come on, Turd Face. Where are you, man? I'm waiting. Why are you mad at me? Sue with a really good statement. You're mad at me for a guy writing a story and reading it. I knew it. I knew it. I said this. If I read this story, these people are going to lose their shit. If I read this story, I read the story, you lose your shit. Oh, oh, but on. Where's Turd Face? I can't find Turd Face. We aren't mad at you. You're just calling you out and letting you know you whatever for creaming all over this news. No, I'm not creaming all over this news. It reiterates the shit I've been saying for years. That's what it does. What happened to Turd Face? Oh, man, that's terrible. Where's Turd Face? Really, you think? Hey, you know what's crazy about this too, Prince? Hell, I've been talking shit since I was 17 years old. What, you think because Prince comes into my life in my show that I started talking shit here? Yeah, I don't think so. Truth, justice, and the big Sills way. Bang! It's like arm wrestling. This article made it real, drafting a quarterback in the draft. Ugh. Sills for the win. Dang. Sills for the win. I'm having a fabulous day. Holy cow. How you doing? Let me see here. Yes, sir. By the way, I want to show you this. So Todd Callis sent me something really cool. Thanks for defending my dad. Todd Callis at the top there on my said, Dan, it sent me a message. Thanks for defending my dad. I said nobody else in Philly will. So Angelo and I will. We'll defend your dad. I knew your dad. I knew Harry Callis very well. I'll defend your dad. Nobody in the Philly media is going to defend him. I'll defend his ass. You're welcome. Eight wins, jackass. 8 wins. So now that you have source story about the quarterback, can you please challenge Cataldi to his love fest for Hurts? Yes. We will. Don't let this overreaction be as big as your belly sills. Love you, dude. Gabe, I love you too. I swear in my God, there's nobody in here I do not dislike, including the people that constantly are posting things. I don't dislike these folks. As a matter of fact, they make the show go. That one guy who keeps posting and posting and posting and praying that'll go to him. I told you this before. That one guy that's in here that does that will always have to pay for my attention. And until he pays for my attention, he'll never be noticed again. The rest of you are all good. Sills, you still trash. Bro, I'm out back to a real show. Rating are down bad. As a matter of fact, 3 million people have watched my Sports Grid show in 10 weeks. This show, people come to, by the way, Somebody came on this program yesterday and told you that the chick over there that was the sideline reporter for the Eagles was fired. Well, she was. Uh-oh. Here's the golden nugget that Sue finally gets. Sills, it's your delivery that sets some of these people off. I think it's hilarious. I learned that from my aunt and my grandpa. I learned that, Sue, from my aunt and my grandpa. It's the delivery. Like I told you, hey, Easter Sunday's coming, right? Listen, Sue, Easter Sunday, if my aunt wasn't in tears by the end of Easter Sunday, it was a terrible Easter. If we saw my aunt crying and my aunt was leaving the house in tears, my grandpa thought it was a success. Hey, I know. I don't know why. And unfortunately, Aunt Betty, you're taking it there, but it's true. My aunt would leave every holiday in tears. And we would always know it was a good holiday. Social media exposes how low IQ fans are with racial undertones behind it. We love you, Sills, though. Regardless, keep dropping truth bombs. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you. She doesn't. She's going to sit, believe me, she's going to sit next to my grandmother at the right hand of God, believe me. The things she's done for me and other people in life. One of the greatest human beings I've ever known in my entire life. Okay? I mean, my aunt has never said no to me. My grandparents never said no to me. Ever. Ever. True family. Only person that could give me shit, too, by the way. So just because someone writes a story and have story, you're reiterating all the stuff that's been said before about the guy. Okay, dude, you're right. None of it's true. Okay? 5-6 years, Sills has been a pleasure talking sports. Hey, man, you better not let me down this year, James, because Zander's going to be on my ass about that Commanders team. You got one more year, bro, or I'm going to get on that. Hey, I'm going to start jumping off the Commander wagon. I'm going to start jumping off the Commander wagon, dude. It's one of the few things Zander has to hit me in the face plus 24. And you better win this year, my friend. You better win. Because we're starting to get to a point here now, right? So it's not saying it's true, but we've all seen it. Okay, Mike, I got you, bro. It ain't about his delivery. Let's keep it all the way 100. Some take Sills as 100% right on, and the other ones are shit. He says are just straight bullshit. Doesn't make sense. I don't know about bullshit, but you hate the takes? Okay. Sills could be a pain in the ass at times, but he's great. I'm going to get a shirt. Sills is a pain in the ass, but I love him. Sue, is that right? Sills is a pain in. I'm going to buy my family that, and I'm going to send one to my aunt. Dan Sileo's a pain in the ass, but I'm going to, but I love him. Is that right? Dan Sileo's a pain in the ass, but I love him. All right, fair enough. I'll subscribe to that behavior and that tone. I subscribe to that behavior and that tone. Sure. Okay. Let's see here. No. In your world, it's bullshit. Wait a second here. Before I get Big Z in here, man. Hey, by the way, super chats go to the top. We're going to read them at the end of the segment with Big Z. Battle Royale. Oh my God, Mark Holmes off the top rope today. Look at this. I haven't even opened up my freaking thing today. I haven't even gone to it yet. I don't even have a top. Look at this. I wrote topics down and I haven't even hit them yet. Hold on. Let me read one thing here. Here it is. Inside Eagles 2025 friction as Jalen Hurts stands at the crossroads. Hold on. I'm going to compose myself before I get Big Z on here. Hold on. Say it with me. Big Sills. Oh, wait a minute. We have a form on my X account for apologies being accepted. And I want to thank somebody for putting that out there on my X account. Let's see here. Somebody put this up there. It's a formal apology official notice. If some of you in here would like to fill it out and send it to in care of Zander Krause, I would appreciate it. Please. Thank you very much. Say it with me. Sills is right. Come on. I know it's hard for you. Says Big Sills is right. All right. Shit, I had look at what I got for Z. See, look, I write these questions down here. Where's Zander? Here's Zander, 3:30. I got 3. Usually I got a bunch of things I write down to give me some cliff notes. I got 3. Hurts is a stiff, and the coach can't coach because the quarterback hates him or something. I don't know. All right. Without further ado. Oh, and by the way, make sure you get the Bob Lane special coming out in the next 3 days. Psst. Guess what? They are going to go all in to make sure Jalen Hurts looks like Michael Jordan in the next 3 days. You hear that bullshit about Jeffrey Lurie yesterday about Hurts? Hey, by the way, look at this little cliff note down here. We contacted the Eagles for a response, and you know what they said? No response. They asked the Eagles for a McManus and Fowler gave him a heads up this was coming out today. Psst, 101, Big Sills Media. All right. Without further ado, I'm getting dizzy. Without further ado, my man from Birds 365, Big Z, Zander Krause joins us now. How are you doing?
What is up, Sills?
I hear a little bit of dejection in that voice.
Yo, I'm shot through the heart today, dude. I've been spending all summer defending Jalen and crushing AJ Owens. And now I get a piece comes out, and look, I know people don't like to believe every report, but these are pretty credible guys, man. Tim McManus. I've met Tim McManus. He's not a guy that's out there making shit up. Same with Jeremy Fowler. So I'm shot through the heart today, Big Sills. And you know what? I don't know where they're going to go from here, but it's going to be very interesting. I very much enjoyed the first hour and a half of your program, though.
How do you repair this? If you're the Eagles, how do you repair this, or do you ignore this?
Well, I think the people who are in charge have to be in charge again. Like you said about the play call. Hurts calls the 4 verticals. All right. are we walking on eggshells? Like, if that wasn't the right play call, and I don't know, maybe Nick thought it was the right play call, but maybe there's also a small chance that when you're a player's coach, and we've talked about this before, by the way, when you're a player's coach, sometimes you might placate things to the players, and that's not necessarily what a leader or a head coach should be doing. Now, I don't know if that's true at all, but if Nick's in charge, he better take it. I did find it ironic that Jeffrey Lurie said that last night, and then we talk about both of those things today. But you're right. I mean, they gave him the heads up, and he probably went out of his way to glaze up Jalen Hurts, because that was a Hall of Fame glaze job by the owner. There was Krispy Kreme on his face. I've never heard an owner glaze a player like that. Oh my God. I love Jalen Hurts and the MVP, and he should have been MVP in 57. I'm like, holy moly, that was a glazed job. So I don't know. The article was scathing.
Oh, yes.
Very scathing.
Damning,
I thought. And look, I think the whole Mannion thing, it's either put up or shut up now for not only for Nick, but for maybe even more so for Jalen Hurts. I mean, someone explain this to me. Explain to me how they hire a coordinator who's everything that's being reported is that they're going to try and run an offense, a Shanahan-McVay offense. Does everybody knows what that means, right? That means motion and under center play action, basically. And the quarterback, now a report comes out that those are the very things that the quarterback didn't want to run. I mean, something's not adding up here, guys. Well, and I don't care whose side you're on. Something's not adding up.
Does Jalen Hurts report to Nick Sirianni or Jeffrey Lurie?
He should be reporting to Nick Sirianni.
No, I asked you who does he report to?
I think he cares more about Jeffrey Lurie, and that's not crazy.
Well, when I hear someone say that, I'm calling my own plays, and I'm going to, whatever the play caller is, and the play comes in, and I'm not going to run it, and I'm going to change it. I know now for a fact Jalen Hurts doesn't want to run. Jalen Hurts doesn't want to throw across the middle. Jalen Hurts doesn't want to throw screen passes. Jalen Hurts doesn't want to do any of those things because Jalen Hurts doesn't want to do them. You know, that one thing you said about Jalen Hurts, you said, what version am I getting? Jalen Hurts is telling you the version he wants because this is what people in that building, and this is an opinion.
Okay, well, that version's not good enough.
Okay, well, wait a minute. And I agree. This is why I say it's not going to work. This is an opinion here. Boy, it's surely. Do you not agree Jeff Stoutland had an ass with the way that whole thing ended for him?
100%. Where I'm not going to go is that Jeff Stoutland is the guy who's leaking this to the guys.
Boy, I'll tell you what. There's a lot of insight into the building.
It could be. You know, I got a comment on the channel earlier. This is Kevin Patullo. This is a Kevin Patullo hit piece. I'm like,
yeah, but I don't think he'd do that to Nick.
Well, why? Well, this wasn't
because Nick never fired him.
Wait a second. I heard you say something. This article today was a positive for Nick.
Yeah.
I heard you say today,
yeah.
You know, he's coaching around that.
Yeah. This article made Nick Sirianni look like what you've been saying, a hero.
What's that?
Right? No.
Nick ain't so bad, is he?
No, because you know why? He's got a player that can't be coached.
I don't know that he can't be coached. I think maybe his head's a little inflated, and maybe I don't know. I mean, I'm not in the building, so I don't like to make shit up and like that. But
well, those guys are in the building, it seems.
No, yeah. I mean, look, it appears that that's the way Jalen has operated, and maybe his head's a little big. Another part of the article was he had too many yes men around him last year. I don't know if that's something that's relevant. I mean, potentially it is, but look, the bottom line is this. The team's going to have to play better, and Jalen Hurts is going to have to be a big part of that. Now, you can call this an expose on the offense. We're not breaking news here that the offense sucked ass last year. You know, now whose fault it was, I never thought it was all Patullo. I think he's a part of it. I think Nick's a part of it. I think Jalen's a part of it. I think anybody that has a hand in the offense is a part of it. I mean, it's ridiculous to say otherwise, to be frank. But, oh, man, Sileo. Where do we go from here, Sills?
That's a great question. Where do you go from here? I mean, How do you build
Well,
an
they
offense
gotta play
around a
better on
guy?
offense, man.
How do you build an offense with a guy who is fighting you every step of the way?
Well, is he fighting? Well, maybe they're at a crossroads, and
Is
that
Jeffrey Lurie in the way too much here?
no, I don't think it's Jeffrey Lurie. He might have an opinion. I don't think he's directly in the crossroads here. I think there might be a crossroads where Nick has an identity or a idea of what he wants the offense to become, and maybe it looks a little bit like Sean Mannion, where you have motion and under center and play action and some of these things, right? And maybe Jalen doesn't believe that's the best way to accentuate his talents. So maybe that's where the crossroads is coming up, because Jalen doesn't feel like they have to do that to win, and Nick feels like they have to evolve and do that to win. One of the most interesting parts of the article to me was the Kellen Moore part.
No shit. Kellen Moore, the
Yeah.
offensive coordinator of the Eagles in 24, had tried to implement new offensive concepts that Hurts did not always embrace, per source. One of the sources said that they believed that the changes concerned motions and shifts, recalling that Hurts was not receptive to the idea. A 13 source said Hurts was willing to experiment with the new wrinkles in 24, but when it wasn't paying off immediately, they quickly pivoted. So get this. They won the Super Bowl because Hurts was not willing to give it time and let the offense mature and not.
Well, the guy had 7 turnovers. I mean, what do you want?
No, I love it because guess what? If he had continued and been patient, they wouldn't have won the Super Bowl that year.
Well, I guess that's one way to look at it, but
You damn right. It's the Big Sills way to look at it. Oh my God. What the hell? I mean, this guy parachuted this thing down into my lap.
he really did. He really did. I mean, you woke up with the biggest smile on your face today.
Now listen, I'm getting ready for the Tampa show, and I look up at ESPN and I go, Sills, have you? No, here's the JAKIB people, because I do that Tampa thing, and here's the JAKIB people and all the Eagle people. Holy shit, Sills is gonna have a feast today. I'm doing my damn, and I'm look, Zander, I'm reading this going, oh my God, I can't wait till 11 a.m.
I mean, that's what everybody was saying this morning too. And look, I mean, this is not a great look for any of them. I don't think it's a great look for Nick either, because look, you're the leader. I mean, is your house in order or is it not?
Nope.
And this also, while it might make Nick look better about the offense, it
more
makes him
about
look
a
worse.
strategic coach.
But it makes him look worse as a leader, as a head coach, dude. You're the head coach.
Right.
This dysfunction shit. That buck has to stop with you.
That's a reflection on the coach.
Exactly. So I never really thought it was a great look on Nick. Now I do think it maybe changed some people's opinions about the offense, because how many times have we heard like Prince? I'd be curious to see what Prince, like me and Prince have debated this a lot, where he thinks that the Nick Sirianni offense is the whole problem here. And is it the Nick Sirianni offense? I mean, nothing about Nick's history was this offense. Now they played this offense, and now you get a report that this is all Jalen Hurts wants to run. And he pushes back on Kellen Moore when he tries to do anything different. I appreciated too. Kellen Moore apparently was the one who stuck up to Hurts a little bit more. That's the thing with Bobo. I mean, Patullo last year was a
yes man.
Yeah, he was. What was he going to do? Oh yeah, no, Jalen, we're not doing that. No, he didn't do that once. He didn't have the chops.
If you remember right, what we said was, I mean, what are you going to tell a guy that you have more experience than? Are you going to go? How about get this too? What made this? So Jalen Hurts pretends he's Phillip Rivers, calling shitty plays. They called this. So wait, I mean, what's great about this is 4 verts. I mean,
wait, that's another thing everybody ripped Patullo for. Are they going to apologize to Bobo?
4 verts. The coach, hey, how about the one when he had a cover in the Packer game? Why? When Hurts changed the play. Maybe your bad play caller is the quarterback and not the guys on the sidelines.
Well, that was the other thing in there too, right? I mean, Hurts changes the play calls at what was the word they used? I'd have to pull up.
Extreme high rate or something.
Yeah, something like that. It was like here it is, inside the Eagles. Inside the Eagles friction. as Jalen Hurts stands at a crossroads. And here was the one. It was
Oh my God. I'm gonna print this out and put it under my pillow tonight.
oh, Sileo. Here's another one quote. Poor body language, not always bought in, not the most coachable, and the players notice, a team source said.
And your owner does this. And then Jalen Carter. Yeah, we're working on it. Yeah, we're kind of working on it. We're working on this, we're working on that. I didn't really get a good sense of literally like a lot of love for that guy. Did you get a sense for Jalen Carter?
No. Oh, from the owner?
Yeah.
Oh, I got the opposite. I got the stark opposite.
You think the owner loves Jalen Carter?
No.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I thought the guy was like, no, I don't,
Yeah. I thought Jeffrey Lurie was almost off-putting about Jalen Carter.
Yeah, that's how I took it.
Like if I were Jalen Carter and I listened to that, like I wouldn't be feeling great about an extension coming.
No. I think about more like a 50-year
look at the new nickname they got.
Forward
hurts. No. Dude, all my off-season fodder has been destroyed. Shot through the heart.
Hey.
No.
What is your AJ Brown trade meter at now?
The AJ Brown trade meter?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I didn't factor it after
this. Does this article shift it at all?
Sway my AJ Brown meter.
No, huh?
But maybe it swayed. This probably is something to do with the reason that AJ Brown wants out, obviously. And remember, AJ has on the record spoke pretty glowingly about all the coordinators, Kellen, Patullo. So it is what it is. AJ's probably gone, done and dusted, as I like to say. Senorita will be happy about that. And then I have bad news for Eagle fans who want AJ Brown gone. And hey, maybe it's a good thing to lose AJ Brown, but the article that came out that emphasized that the quarterback doesn't like to go under center, doesn't like to turn his back on the defense, doesn't want to do anything other than the offense they've been doing. Folks, I don't think it's going to be a better football team without AJ Brown on the field. Okay. I really don't think it's going to be a better team or a better offense without AJ Brown out there. So I don't know what I mean, Senor, you could take your victory laps when AJ gets traded. You're entitled to do it, but it might come at the price of the Eagles not being a very good football team next year.
If you trade him, you're in a rebuild.
AJ?
Yes.
If they trade him, here, let me ask you another obvious question here that I think people don't even want to address it because it's not a guarantee, but everybody knows how the Eagles do business in terms of contracts and players. I mean, AJ Brown got an extension 2 years before he was due. He got an extension 2 years after his original deal. DeVonta Smith got the extension nice and early. Jordan Davis gets the extension nice and early. When this team establishes they want a player, they sign him. So the Eagles, if they don't pay him this summer, and it's still early, they could still pay him this summer. It might come in the next couple of weeks before the draft if the owner wasn't lying yesterday with how much he was glazing the quarterback. It was sickening listening to a man glaze that guy like that. But anyway. Well, are they going to put off this contract until next year when they got to pay Cooper and Quinion and Carter? I mean, think about the contracts they have coming up. Oh, yeah, it makes more sense for the Eagles to pay Jalen Hurts in the same year they have to pay Cooper DeJean and Quinion Mitchell. I mean, that doesn't make a lick of sense.
Quarterbacks contracts are always a priority.
And it's even the money thing that they've been talking about. They're going to pay all of those guys in one offseason. That's $400 million of contracts.
And if you did this year, say you went out there and kept Phillips and you signed Carter.
Yeah, this nickname 4 Verts Hurts is hilarious. 4 Verts Hurts. Oh, no.
Why didn't Nick overrule that?
What, overrule the play call? Because he probably walks on eggshells. Players coach, right? Doesn't want to upset the quarterback.
Oh. Is he afraid more about the quarterback or afraid more how the response of the owner is going to be?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, if you're Nick Sirianni and you listen to him
No,
talk,
I'm doing what the owner wants.
yeah, but well, that's true. And listening to the press conference of the owner and you're Nick Sirianni, you're probably like, yeah, I better not do anything to upset Jalen Hurts because that is clearly his little buttercup.
Buttercup.
The owner loves some Jalen Hurts.
I wonder why. Okay, leave it there.
Well, I do think Jalen represents the organization well, and he does. Look, people can talk about the football stuff, but I think overall Jalen does a pretty good job as a public face of a team. It's not to say it's perfect. It's not to say he does everything right in the locker room, but all things considered, he's not in trouble. He's never been in trouble. There's never a fear of him being in trouble. He's a mature guy. He's well put together. I mean, he's a good company guy.
Observers point to a lack of creativity and synergy in the Eagles' attack. The pass game wasn't always properly tied to the run game, and there's a level of complacency that allows the opposing defenses to get a beat on what's coming next. Though there's plenty of blame to go around, Hurts has had a hand in the offense becoming stagnant, according to several sources inside the building. He pushed back on changes that would directly diversify the scheme, including when it comes to going under center. He has shown a reluctancy to let it rip at times, particularly against zone coverages. He diverts from the game plan and changes play calls to what some feel is excessive degrees.
That's a crock of shit, the whole thing, that he doesn't want to do certain stuff. Now, where I agree is like, you don't want to do stuff that you're not, I guess that doesn't put you in the best position. But I mean, dude, the offense sucked balls. Let's go here, Oh God. How am I gonna put this fire out for the rest of the summer?
How about this one here? When it comes to Jalen Hurts, not accessible. And when they talked about him as a teammate, like, a lot of guys are like, and I'm paraphrasing here, get this, he's never like really receptive to too many ideas when it comes to changing things. And a third source says Hurts was willing to experiment. Again, that was talking about the Kellen Moore stuff. But when they go to him to try to talk to him, sometimes he hears it. Sometimes he doesn't hear it. Sometimes he absorbs it. Most of the time he does what he wants to do.
Well, here's the other thing too, that the article highlighted actually pretty well, that I think is a problem here. And that's that teams have, like John keeps saying, it's not the NFL caught up to the Eagles. Bull fucking shit.
Totally did.
Have you seen the zone rates? I mean, he put it in there.
Yeah, I saw it.
Jalen doesn't throw well against zone. He kind of stinks against zone. He's got a good completion percentage, but that's about it. He doesn't throw any touchdowns or anything against zone coverage. A.J. Brown disappears against zone. The statistics are down across the board when they're in zone coverage. And in 2025, they had the highest rate of zone coverage played against them that they've ever had. Why? Because teams know what to do.
Yeah.
Teams know that the way to beat the Eagles is play zone. When Saquon's not running 80-yard touchdowns, the safeties don't have to be honest in the box. It makes Hurts have to throw to win. That's why every time there's man coverage, Hurts audibles and sends A.J. Brown on a verticals route so he can throw the deep ball.
Here's another famous line in this thing here. Hurts' rigid preference became an issue again this past season, multiple sources said, citing Patullo's desire to get Hurts under center more often for rushing efficiency and play action purposes. Playing under center is something Hurts continually fights inside the building. One source said Hurts doesn't like to turn his back on the defense and prefers to process coverages with everything in front of him. Hey, dude, being a pro football quarterback, you got to learn. You got to know how to play under center and get back. That's how you hide your routes, is when you're under center and you're dropping back.
I don't think Hurts believes he can do some of this stuff. I mean, why else would you push back on such simple implementation of concepts that work, across the NFL? Give yourself more variety, give yourself better looks, give opportunities for your wide receivers to get open, give the opportunity for you to run or for Saquon Barkley to get lanes. I mean, why else would you push back on it?
Because you're limited.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep. Okay, listen, Offensive players know Hurts isn't afraid to change plays. He doesn't like most adjust accordingly. Team sources added a separate team source. You never know what play is going to come out of the huddle. Is that right? Dude, you're ripping these play callers and you never know what play is going to come out of the huddle?
Yeah.
What about this one here? This is another nugget. His occasional collaborations with Hurts aside, Brown couldn't mask his frustrations with the offensive dynamic. His sideline demeanor and social media messaging became a weekly conversation. Multiple sources say they never saw Brown and Hurts engage, but everyone knew that both players were not communicating. Brown and Hurts were once considered best friends, but veteran defensive end Brandon Graham suggested in the later stages of 24, the relationship frayed. What about the fact that the guy, again, I mean, teammates can't talk to him?
Well, maybe that's true. That doesn't mean I think AJ Brown's done everything right either. So, get that load of shit out of here. I mean, it's still, AJ Brown handled everything right. Come on, I'm not buying that bullshit either. Both of these guys.
The face of the team, though, dude.
Dude, you got ego 1 and ego 2. What do you think? One is more at fault than the other?
There's no ego 2.
What?
There's no ego 2.
Oh, so which one doesn't have the ego?
Okay, well, here, let me tell you what. You think that in Los Angeles, there's one voice in the huddle, bro.
Well, then it's
Matthew Stafford, and then there's
right.
one voice for the organization. It's Sean McVay.
Okay, so
nobody supersedes those two voices.
So
I don't give a
AJ
fuck.
Brown. So AJ Brown's the ego.
You got to coach that.
All right. Well, AJ Brown. To me, AJ Brown wants what he wants.
That's on Nick. AJ Brown's on Nick, not Jalen. Okay, really?
I think Jalen's on Nick.
Well, here, both of them. Well, it's all on Nick.
Yeah, well, he's the head coach. Yeah, it is all on him.
But if I got a player over there chirping like this, I'm gonna look at AJ Brown and go,
dude, these guys are like fucking these guys are like T.O. and McNabb, dude. You gotta give Nick a little credit for winning as much as he has. I'm not saying he's done everything right, but holy shit.
AJ Owens.
What is Philly 500 going to be saying today about this? I can't wait to hear.
Oh, I'm going to read this whole thing, and I'm going to watch Mark Holmes laugh his ass off.
Mark Holmes is going to be laughing his keister off. That is true.
How much responsibility is this culture? Do you believe that there's a good culture in the building?
Well, after last year, it doesn't look like it's just so great. But, I mean, how good was the culture when they were parading down Broad Street less than, 2 years ago? So it depends. I mean, when you win, the culture's fine. When you lose, the culture sucks. That's what everybody does.
Yeah, well, I learn more about your culture when things are sucking than I do when things are winning because I don't like front runners.
Yeah, but the culture sucking in years when they're down hasn't stopped them from having up years. So it's clearly not that bad. It's not a toxic culture to the point where they can't win with it.
Fair. 11 wins is your floor.
Yeah. I mean, they went back up too. I mean, even 23, right? They collapsed in 24, they come back and win. So I'm not saying the culture, I just think when they lose, everybody's going to harp on the culture. But when they go back and win, the culture's great. They're the greatest team in the world. Look how happy they are. Look, Jalen's walking down Broad Street with the trophy, all that crap,
Jalen Caboose Hurts, baby. Yes, sir.
Well, listen, I think, well, you obviously, but I think I've been honest on this. I mean, look, he's got to fucking play better, dude. And I don't, whether it's
maybe listen better,
whether it's under center. The bottom line is he needs to produce more as the quarterback of the Eagles. The offense needs to produce more. If that's under center, if it's not, if it's play action, if it's not, to be frank with you, I don't really give a rat's ass because a lot of people say, oh, this will do it. They don't fucking know what will work and what won't work. They got to be better. And the quarterback's responsible for that. The coach is responsible for that. The players are responsible for that. That's the bottom line. We're not having this conversation if they play better last year.
I want to throw this in here to the other side here, and this is in defense of Hurts. Okay?
Okay.
Why do we care what it looks like?
Because it's not good enough. Doesn't matter what. That's what I just said. It doesn't matter what.
50 and 18.
Yeah, but last year it wasn't good enough, dude.
Okay.
Last year they squandered an opportunity.
You're under the assumption you're going to win the Super Bowl every year.
No, I'm under the assumption that when you're the 26th ranked offense in football and you lose to the backups of the San Francisco 49ers at home for a playoff game, it's not because your defense gave up 19 points or whatever the fuck they gave up. Because your offense sucks balls.
Your passing offense was 28th and worse when you won the Super Bowl.
You could, but they had the back of the running back and one of the most historic offensive lines in the game.
It didn't matter how it looked.
No, that's why. Again,
it didn't matter how it looked then.
Yeah, but John said the same thing to me this morning. He's like, no, it doesn't. Evolution is overrated. It doesn't matter. Look at the Cowboys in the 90s. The Cowboys they have the Great Wall of Dallas, they called it. So the only way that the Eagles are going to win is if they have a historic offensive line. Well, I got news for everybody. That's not sustainable.
He's right about one thing with the Cowboys, though. Cowboys had like 9 plays and went, I'm going to run it here, everyone. And you couldn't stop it.
I know that. But again,
remember what Dallas had. Remember what Dallas had that the Eagles don't have to win. The reason they won 3 and 4. You had a historic running back. You had a Hall of Fame quarterback. You had a Hall of Fame receiver. You had historic players at these positions to do this too. Hey, Zander, you don't have to run a lot of creative plays when you have historic players. Nick.
Well, our players aren't as good as we thought.
You have do you know what the one thing you have historic? GM.
Well, I think that's fair. That's why the window can always go open.
That's right.
But if you're Howie, think about Howie right now.
Did they underachieve last year for him?
Underachieve? Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Think about Howie right now. Howie was referenced in this article, by the way, for those who didn't see it. Basically talked about Hurts's mentality or Hurts's relationship or some of those things. And it said Howie's well aware of this. Okay. If you're Howie and you're trying to be the historic Hall of Fame GM, like you just said, and you're trying to prop the Super Bowl window open even more, and you have an offensive problem, but you have an owner that talks about the quarterback like he delivered him his first billion.
Eggshells.
I mean, what do you do? This might make Howie operate differently as well. For example, when they wanted to move on from Carson Wentz, and I'm not even insinuating they want to move on from Jalen, but when they wanted to, if they wanted to stroke that, that brush, they didn't have to think about that. He got the approval for the dead cap hit, and that's about it. He went on and traded Carson Wentz, picked up a first-round pick, turned it into Jalen Carter or whatever it was, and on they went back to a Super Bowl. So now if Howie, though, feels the need that he has to make a change, but he's got the owner glazing the quarterback like he's never even heard before. I mean, don't you feel backed into a corner if you're Howie? Well, we got to pay Hurts. So everything has to be built around Hurts.
Okay. This article and what you just said laid the whole dynamic out right now, what's 26 is going to look like. You ready? So you have the coaches over here on one side, Zander, that have made a complete overhaul in the coaches, correct? And they want to try something new. Okay. On this side, you have Jeffrey Lurie that's a glazed donut for Jalen Hurts.
He really is. He's a glazed donut, dude. In the middle,
you got Nick and Howie. Those two men, you know what they have to do? They have to manage Lurie and they have to manage Hurts. And that's the number one. I think
the bigger problem here is the owner. I mean, if the owner is in love with the quarterback, then guys, lock in.
Well, no.
The quarterback's going nowhere.
Do you know why Nick Sirianni wasn't fired after 23? Because he manages and does what the owner wants.
Yeah, but has the owner really turned a complete blind eye to some of the problems with the offense? I mean, he referenced the regression. He literally acknowledged it. And then in the same interview, he glazed Jalen. So again, if he's going to acknowledge regression on the offense and in the same breath talk about Jalen Hurts like he's the second coming, I mean, guys, they're going to extend Hurts at some point. I mean, the owner, Howie's a great GM. Howie is not the final decision maker on big contracts like that. Which is why if I'm Jalen Carter, I'd be nervous because Jeffrey Lurie did not sound excited about Jalen Carter.
Well, I'll tell you this, man. If that dude
he said good. Did you catch that?
Good.
good player. That's how he described Jalen Carter, the owner.
That ain't 40 million worth.
Exactly right.
Man,
Good player.
you know what
Drew
good is?
Rosenhaus was listening to that. Like, we better start calling some other teams.
Hey, I'm telling you, or be ready for your extension. That 5th-year option getting picked up because
Yeah.
good ain't cutting it there.
Because 28 is what you're getting offered. Take it or leave it.
Bro, 2026, you're telling me if that guy comes in and they win 8 ball games, like Big Sills is predicting, and they win 8 ball games and that offense is 25th, you're telling me they're going to extend his son?
It's like his long lost son. Maybe this is what Jeffrey always wished Julian was like.
Yeah, it's Julian the second.
Julian, man, maybe Julian's fighting for his father's attention. Is Jalen Hurts has too much of Jeffrey Lurie's attention? Julian's got to fight for it. Oh man,
Z, this article, the damage that it does, or maybe it's a positive. Hurts does seem to really respond when he gets shit on. I won't lie to that.
Yeah, but is this something you can respond to? I
No.
mean, if you don't want to do things because
this is a character indictment.
Yeah, but I feel like this is why I feel like it's so interesting this offseason, because to me, this is the hiring of Sean Mannion summed up. I mean, sink or swim. Literally. That is what they have said effectively to Jalen Hurts.
Dude, my phone's blowing up right now. It's just people are going like this. Sills, all that shit you've been saying about this guy. I'm reading these articles. I'm reading this article, and dude, it's an expose on what went on. So do you think Kevin Patullo was a bad coordinator? Yes or no?
Kevin Patullo? I don't think he was great. I don't think he did a great job. No. But I also acknowledge that, he might have been up against it here. And I don't think he had the gravitas. I don't think he had the confidence or the swagger or, to say what was needed to be said. I mean, that's the thing I respected more about Kellen Moore after the piece. It's like, even if you're on Jalen Hurts' side, what you should have as a man is be able to have a conversation. And you shouldn't have to walk on eggshells on another man. That's bullshit. I don't have any of my relationships like that. I wouldn't want I don't want you to speak to me like that. I don't want my brother to speak to me like that. I don't want my dad to speak to me like that. I want to be told the truth. And if we got to duke it out, we can duke it out.
I talk to you like my brother.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't understand, why they do that with her.
You do too.
It does seem to be what they're doing. Adapt or else, Sills. Adapt or else. That's the hiring of Sean Mannion summed up.
Okay, how about this coaching staff? How big a task do you think it's going to be for them this year, knowing the parameters that are in that building with the quarterback? And I didn't say limitations. I said parameters and how he likes to be coached.
Well, it is limitations. I mean, if you're
Okay.
often, let's not be overly nice about this. I mean, in NFL, if we're talking Pop Warner and you said, hey, don't run play action, I would understand. I mean, we're talking about we're talking about the National Football League here. We're talking about the guys that are the pinnacle of the sport. We're talking about a $250 million player right now. You understand that?
Yeah.
$250 million. Everybody listening, we won't touch $250 million in our fucking lives. Maybe, God willing, but most likely not. I mean, dude, if it's limitations, it's limitations. Call it what it is. It's a tough thing to build an offense around.
Hey, Sue, I saw the picture with the guy. I saw Sirianni in his Daisy Dukes. Okay? I saw him out there in those Daisy Dukes out there. Okay? I saw them all out there with that, man, playing golf in their Daisy Dukes.
Apparently, Hurts was changing the play a lot too, which is interesting.
Dude, this article is wild. Here's another one.
It's almost like it's written for Big Sills.
It's almost like I wrote it.
You think you could write like this?
Never. Well, I can do it with AI now because of you. I learned a lot of things the other day. I just plug it in. Gronk, take care of this. Boom. Done.
Rocks the.
I feel like every year you're trying to get better. That's how I look at it. Some people are not as good as a lot of us on the team to see us rubbing off a little bit. And on top of that, I'm sure he wants to be. but I'm not sure he wants to be all the time. What? Multiple here. Sirianni attempted to concerns in week 12, Dallas Cowboys stressing the importance of enjoying and savoring the wins, according to a team source. It was not good in the building. That's when Brown came out and said, you can't keep slapping a Band-Aid over the offensive issues. Nick was trying to do a good job by covering the bullshit that was, dude, this 2025 season that they had a lot more turmoil than that was public. Do you not agree? There was more turmoil behind the scenes.
It kind of felt like there was turmoil when we were living it, though, didn't it?
What?
It kind of felt like there was turmoil when we were living it, didn't it?
Yes.
So.
Hey, Prince, guess what? If some of it's confusing, it's because your quarterback's a hamster. He's in the wheel. He's a hamster in the wheel. What's up with your boy, dog?
Dude, I don't know what's up. I don't know how do you want me to answer for this shit? I don't have an answer. Fucking play ball. Come on, Jalen. This guy says this is Jalen Hurts' last season as an Eagle. Philly John, you might want to go and listen to that Jeffrey Lurie press conference. Jalen Hurts might be the next owner of the Eagles at this rate. He might get a piece of the team in his next contract.
How about the owner covering for the player, knowing that the hit piece was coming out?
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that.
Get this right.
You didn't have to do it that hard, though.
Well, no, you know what? It's his investment, and I get it. But by the way, I don't fault him for it. I think that at the end of the day, that when you come down and you're looking at a guy that you really have great belief in, here's the comment right here. We reached out for the Eagles for comment. They said no comment. So they knew, and this is professional courtesy that Tim and Fowler gave to the Eagles, because that's how you stay in the building, is giving these people a heads up on what's going to come out.
Look at this guy. It says unnamed and anonymous sources. First off, guys, I don't know why people love this whole anonymous thing. That's the entirety of the journalism world. There's not an industry in the world that has journalists where people just reveal their sources.
Okay. Watergate was all on unnamed sources.
That's the part
Zander,
of being a reporter. This is journalism 101 here.
Watergate brought down the president of the United States on unnamed sources.
Yeah, it's true. And also, Tim McMahon is not a guy that I don't trust.
No.
He's not that guy. I mean, if Sileo came out on a Tuesday show and said it, I might say Sileo might be embellishing a little bit.
Big Sil's way, you mean? Yeah, all right.
But Tim McManus writes it pen to paper, publishes it on ESPN. Pretty
Front
funny.
page.
Front page, yep.
What did John say about the article?
John did the classic. Well, I've been saying this for years. I'm like, John, do you have to take just react to the article, will you? No, he had a good take on it. I mean, he had a good take on it. I mean, he talked about it a lot. I mean, he thinks that these problems are all stuff that we've talked about, and people turn a blind eye to the quarterback and stuff like that. And it is what it is. So,
were you shocked by all the? No, I'll take that back. Were you shocked by the high percentage of people in here also throwing cover for Jalen?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I've never seen a quarterback get like this in Philly.
Donovan McNabb, Randall Cunningham,
Donovan McNabb,
Michael Vick, all these guys never got this cover.
Donovan McNabb, it felt like everywhere you turned, Donovan McNabb was getting ripped.
No way. You think Carson Wentz got ripped?
Yeah, he did too.
Even at the beginning, though, right?
No, the beginning he was praised. He was glazed in the beginning.
How's AJ and Jalen Hurts go forward with this? Can they?
Yeah, they can. They gotta be big boys. Put on your big boys. Take off your fucking diapers, both of you. Both of you take off the diapers, because now I'm putting the diaper on Jalen Hurts too. And go have a conversation.
You're pretending that you don't know who AJ Brown is, though.
Yeah, I think there's a fundamental flaw here, though. Like, it's one thing to have a conversation and work something out. But if Jalen doesn't believe that he can do what AJ wants him to do you think that's why the conversation no longer even happens?
Yes.
Right?
It's
like, it's one thing if I'm just not doing something that you want me to do.
That's why he stopped talking to Hurts.
Right, but I
can't figure it out.
Exactly.
Or AJ doesn't want to figure it out. So after you read this article here, you still pumped on that 14-win season?
I never said 14. Now you're putting shit in my mouth. I never said 14 wins. I said 10-11 last time we spoke.
Oh, I'll just okay. I thought I could have heard 10-14 this year. That's all I was 10. Yeah, okay.
11.
Where do you think the offense is ranked?
They better be higher.
I know what better be. What do you think they're going to be ranked? 137 days from April 20th.
Is that how many days we got till the season?
Well, that's when they could first start talking, is 137 days from April 20th, according to the NFLPA.
When's the NFL opener this year?
September 4th.
Really? That early?
Mm-hmm. Was a year ago.
156 days until the opener.
No.
I know. I'm saying until the opener. I know that's not what you said.
Yeah. Okay. Sean Minion and Mr. Close-minded quarterback.
Spike's got us at 14-3. 14-3, Spike. Holy shit, Spike. Your boyfriend, Jalen Hurts, better figure out how to play under center and in motion, because apparently Sean Filet Manion is coming here to change this offense. Will he be allowed, or will Hurts cry about it, you think?
Cry about it.
Will AJ cry about it too?
No, because it'll benefit him, but he won't be here for it, so you don't have to worry about it. He'll be throwing to Hollywood Jackson.
I almost got you. I set you up there, and you just got it. You almost fell for it.
No, because you'll be throwing to Hollywood Jackson and the other guy.
Hollywood Brown, and who's the other guy? Oh, Elijah Moore.
Elijah Moore. Yeah, AJ's boy.
Look, I think it is true. I think Hurts has to put up or shut up. But at the end of the day, like, is it going to work?
Ready? There is no way Jalen Carter is getting extended this offseason. They're giving him the 5th-year option.
I happen to agree after hearing the owner. Hard not to. I mean, the owner was, he was like.
He's a decent player.
Close to what he said. Good player, he said.
He's a not good great player.
Not excellent, not awesome. Good player.
How revealing was that article to you?
Not that revealing.
Or did you? I think you kind of been in the lane of
that's it more brings it to real life.
You're more optimistic than me because you like the kid. And not saying you're not critical.
Yeah, but I've also always known that.
I'm not saying that. Okay. I'm not saying that, Mr. Number 2 jersey wearing. I
do. You're not lying. I like Jalen Hurts. I do. I like him.
I got it. But surely when you're hearing multiple people saying these things about the guy, how do you think the team feels about Jalen? Like the players. The
players, I don't know. Some players don't like him. Some players, I'm sure, like him. I don't know. I have no idea how they feel about him. Some evidently don't like his style. It was also in the article, it was like people that had a problem with some of his personality traits before the Super Bowl, they got, accentuated a lot more so, after the Super Bowl. Now, I will say this too, and jealousy and human emotions, like, guys, these are real things. And Jalen Hurts is the one who's on every TV show or on all the, the View. And he's the one who's on the magazine covers. And he's the guy who's really gotten a lot of the additional career accolades from the Super Bowl. It's not even really Saquon. Saquon got the Madden cover and some of that stuff, but Jalen Hurts is the one who benefited from a lot of that. So if you have an off-putting way about you and you don't want to relate or connect, and you're uninterested in doing some of the things that the coaches want you to do to try and fix the offense, and then you're also, aloof in terms of talking to players, I mean, guy, eventually that's going to rub people the wrong way. Now, you could call it jealousy. You could call it some of those things. I think that's fair. I mean, that's a real human emotion and human thing. But I think that's very relevant in the locker room right now. I don't know to what extent, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was prominent.
Listen here, man. Hurts is going to have a big year this year, man. If Hurts doesn't have a big year, they're going to have some conversations about the end of the season, don't you think?
Yeah. Yes. Although it seems that Jeffrey Lurie's giving him the contract no matter what.
Yeah, but the owner's not dumb. He's not dumb. He's not dumb. He's not just going to go, well, here, let me give the guy another $250 and fail. He's just not.
Yeah, but I don't know. He might be saying to Howie, figure out the terms of the deal. We're giving him another 5-year $350 this time.
This bullshit. Good luck. Good
I
luck.
I don't disagree.
Hurts.
I don't disagree, but you heard the owner yesterday. I mean, Charles says don't extend him. Charles, did you happen to hear the owner yesterday?
He did. It was a glazed donut.
I mean, glazed donut does. M. Reyes is a glazed donut.
Yeah.
This was like, what's if you had a glazed donut and you took it to the next level, what would it be?
Glazed and frosted donut. I don't know.
No. We need to go out of the realm of a donut.
A wedding cake glazed donut.
Oh God.
You got used to that. You got to pay 20 or 15 grand, or you probably Zander Z's probably has to pay about $7 grand for a wedding cake. How you doing?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, if you guys want to get rich, anybody want to get rich in life, just start a business and put wedding at the front of it. That's it. I mean, it's just like 100% markups.
Bro, 35 minimum.
Crazy.
35 minimum.
35 minimum what?
35K minimum for like a wedding.
35K.
Most weddings are like
I told you it's not my responsibility this time, so I'm all good.
Shit, I'm telling my Didi to get married in flip flops on a beach.
Yeah, I don't
flip flops on a beach somewhere.
I don't blame you, brother.
I'll send you to Hawaii. We'll go and you guys can whatever. Didi done right now. She can't stand dudes right now. She's not, by the way. Anyway, she just does. She's very picky with guys. And so she doesn't get like, because
look at this guy. This guy says Hurts will never be some goofy like your favorite buddy QB. He's a psycho like Tom.
No. Wait. Interesting. Have you ever seen an article written like that about Tom Brady when he played?
No, but I think what he's trying to say is Hurts has that. Brandon, I think if you're going to have that, you might have to have some ability that you can't get called out for not being able to run the basic things that the coach wants you to run on offense. I mean, those two things are contradictory, my friend.
Hey, Brandon, Jalen Hurts is an imbecile football-wise compared to Tom Brady. He's an imbecile. Tom Brady is a savant at reading the defenses and understanding offensive play calling. Hurts is an imbecile, okay, if you're putting in context of how a guy reads a defense. I mean, holy Maron, he's got that Tom in him. No, he is nothing. The only thing that they have in common, they play quarterback.
Whatever. I'm not going to debate with somebody that thinks Jalen Hurts is Tom Brady. I mean, come on. These are people that can't be reasoned with. Mark Holmes is going to have a fucking field day today. He's going to have a field day. God. He's going to have a field day.
Oh my.
Can you blame him? You're having a field day. I'm having a field day. Everybody's having a field day with this thing.
Listen here. Do you think Philly 500 shows up?
Yes, absolutely. Philly 500 is a man of his word. He is not going to shy away from the moment. In fact, Philly 500 will probably do a much better job than me at defending Hurts.
How can you defend us? What are you going to defend?
I don't feel the need to defend.
The only way you can defend that article is attack the guys who carried the article information. It's the only way you can attack.
Yeah, true. Kill the messenger.
That's what people do.
Yeah.
Oh, wait till the Bob Lang specials come out this week. John's going to be called into a teepee, You know when the popes go into that room and you see the smoke coming out, you'll know John's in the room with the rest of those guys, and you'll see smoke, and there'll be a new message coming out. Oh, we have a new message for His Highness Jalen Hurts. And His Highness is the face, according to Jeffrey Lurie, without a doubt, his son, lost. And we really love the fact And here's Jalen Hurts, the face of the Philadelphia Eagles. Mr. Limited. for Hurts. Oh, my God. Dude. Holy shit. I don't even see articles written like that about Dak.
No.
Man.
This guy says, do I enjoy crapping on Jalen? Look at this. Do you actually enjoy crapping on Jalen Hurts? Dude, have you been listening to me all summer? I found every fucking excuse for Jalen Hurts this summer. I was shredding A.J. Brown, giving Jalen an out. I mean, what do you want me to do here, bro? I didn't write the fucking article, poor little lamb, whatever the hell your name is.
Poor little
I didn't write it. I mean, it's not a great article. It doesn't look good on the quarterback. It doesn't. It doesn't look good on any of them. I don't think it looks good on Sirianni either, who's got to get it. You know that old saying, get your house in order? Come on, Nick, get your damn house in order.
I'm going to read that nice lullaby to Mark Holmes and to Philly 500 from Jeremy Fowler and them, and I can't wait to see the faces. Mark Holmes is going to go nuts. Let's get to some of these supers we have here, Z.
Do we got any today?
Do we?
Mikey says, F offense evolved from wishbone hurts to four verts hurts. Kimberly says, Julian versus Sean Lennon, Jeff's unwanted son.
Oof.
Brian says, we better hope Minion calls persistent West Coast to prove Hurts can't run a pro-style offense to get him out of here. Otherwise, Laurie is going to pay him. I don't think Mannion has that type of swagger.
No way. No way. Hey, here's a question based on Brian here. How long a leash do you think that Sean Mannion has? Because remember Big Sills' predictions. Week 6, he's out.
Brian says, Petunia got egged because his QB wouldn't run his plays.
Petunia.
That's the wife in Harry Potter, isn't it? The sick bitch that hates Harry Potter.
Petunia.
What's their name? What's their name in that movie? The Dursleys. Petunia Dursley. JD says Hurts is the prevent offense. He might be. Kimberly says, I guess we're drafting Garrett Nussmeier. Oh, please no. They'd rather draft Ty Simpson at 23.
I'd rather draft Garrett's. I'd rather draft his dad.
Philip says maybe if AJ didn't cry 24/7, Jalen wouldn't feel obligated to force him the ball every game.
There you go. Keep blaming the other guy.
Well, maybe if Hurts was willing to line up under center a couple more times or do what the coaches wanted, then AJ wouldn't be crying. They both are crying. By the way, this is where I disagree with Sileo. They're both crybabies, both of them. Alvino says 4 verts Hurts. JD3 says Sirianni winning Super Bowls with a man-child quarterback. Oh, that's going too far. Double O Justin Credible says the Eagles never had patience at quarterback, even going back to Jaws, Randall, McNabb, and Wentz. They move off quarterbacks fast. When they see a problem in character or gameplay, they kick them to the curb. Yeah, well, the owner has to be the one to see it.
Yeah.
And the owner loves Jalen Hurts and doesn't see any character problem.
Dude, GMs and head coaches don't move off of $250 million quarterbacks. That's an owner thing, bro.
Yeah, I'm with you. Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Oh my goodness. Philly 500 is going to need to come in here and kick some ass today because I can't do it. Kyle says, this is a message to Mark Holmes. Win a division game. Last time they did that was 95, year I was born. Back then, Tupac, Eazy-E, and Selena were alive.
Oh my God, dude.
Oh shit, man! My bad. I didn't send Philly 500 the link.
Man.
Yeah,
there we go. See?
Yeah, my fault. He just texted me.
Oh man.
My bad, 500.
Holy cow!
All right, get me out of here. I got to listen to this battle royale and hear what Philly 500 has to say.
Hey! Do you notice how Holmes has been in like just a great mood? Like
the Cowboys love the offseason. I mean, cut him some slack, dude. The guy they haven't won a division game since 95, if this is right. You know, you got to find some enjoyment in life, though, don't you? I mean, we spend a lot of time talking about football. If your team doesn't win games, you got to find in the big moments, you got to find ways to enjoy the other stuff.
The Dallas Cowboys haven't won a division game since 95?
I don't know if that's true or not. Mark will have the answer.
I know they won.
When is the last time the Cowboys won a divisional?
They won a playoff game against the Bucs a couple of years ago.
The Dallas Cowboys last won a divisional playoff game on January 7th, 1996, defeating the Philadelphia Eagles 30-11.
Where was that game played?
I don't know.
I think that game was in Dallas, no?
I'll tell you in a sec. Probably was. The Cowboys were good as shit in 96.
Yeah, they still had Aikman and them dudes.
Did they win the Super Bowl that year?
No, 95 was the last one, I believe, right, Mark?
Yeah, they beat the Eagles. That was it doesn't tell me. Here's the box score.
What team's on the bottom? Team on the
Yeah,
bottom?
it was at Texas Stadium.
Okay, yeah.
Barry Switzer was the coach. All right, good stuff. Get me out of here.
Oh, my God.
I need to sleep on this article. I'm going to read it a couple more times.
Are you kidding me, man? I'm going to print that and put it up on my wall like it's a poster.
Z wasn't born, correct. I was born in May of 1998.
Boy, look at
May of 1998.
Unbelievable what's about to happen here.
What's about to happen?
The truth, the justice, and the Big Sills way. That's about what's going to happen.
Bro, I love you. I'm done with you today. Get me off the show. Get me off this program.
Hey, I will see you in the morning, and you'll have a lot more to talk about, I'm sure, by morning.
All right. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
You bet, brother. Love you, man. Talk to you soon, man. We're going to go over this article tooth and nail here. Let me go back to the top before I get both these fellas in here. Inside Eagles 2025 friction as Jalen Hurts stands at a crossroads in his career. Now, remember something. The only way that you're going to dispel these guys who are in the building that cover the Eagles is if you shit on the messenger. That's the only thing. And by the way, when people say this, sources, the president of the United States, Richard Nixon, was taken down by sources. They weren't naming people when they took down Nixon and Nixon resigned. Jeremy Fowler and Tim McManus, to get back in that building again, remember something, folks. To get back in that building again to cover the Eagles, they can't write bullshit They can't write bullshit stories, or you're not going to be invited back into the building. All right. I'm going to read the first line here, then we're going to introduce both gentlemen here. Supposed to save the season, instead, it encapsulated its pain. The Eagles were teetering, poised for a Jenga-like collapse in front of a fanatical home crowd. Scared from a challenging 2025 season of offensive football. 43 seconds left in the wild card game against the 49ers. The offensive coordinator, KP, fiddled with his red pen and then scanning the play sheet. Quarterback Jalen Hurts stood in front of them, leaning in to speak to his play caller. Nicky Sirianni was there nearby listening to the chatter. A few assistant coaches and Tanner McKee were in earshot of this. Patullo addressed Hurts, and Sirianni directly suggested what appeared to be a play call for a game-deciding fourth down. Sirianni made eye contact with Patullo, then looked at Hurts as if to get his input. Four Verts Hurts is now the new name that is being coined after this scathing dossier that was written by Tim McManus and Jeremy Fowler. Without further ado, to retort these comments, the man, the myth, the legend that is one of the top, if not the top, Dallas Cowboy content creator, our friend Mark, Dallas Cowboys Holmes, and
what's up,
my friend, the legend, Philly 500, coming in, and he's coming in strong. How you doing, fellas?
What's up, my man? How are you?
How are you guys doing? How are you doing here, Mark? How are you feeling today?
You know, I'm actually going to toss you a bone. Just a possible out here on this whole article. Because, see, I'm the master of April Fools, okay? I understand that you got to be up early. You got to be first. So when that fucker is waking up in the morning and he sees the clip that the Dallas Cowboys trade 3 picks for Myles Garrett, they believe it. And that shit goes viral. And
No,
as
they
we
don't.
sit here right now, I got Eagle fans that are losing their shit because I've doubled down and said A.J. Brown just got traded to New England. So could it be that this article is the biggest April Fool's prank there is?
No.
First off, I called 2 days ago. Yesterday also.
Go ahead.
The first thing you'll see from Mark Holmes is saying that the Dallas Cowboys traded for Myles Garrett and beat out the Eagles.
Okay.
So everybody knew it was coming days beforehand.
That sucker
So
is still
very
going viral.
predictable. Very predictable.
Okay. It's still going viral
Just
there,
want
buddy.
to put that out there. Mhm.
Okay.
So
Let
Philly,
it go viral.
I'm not sure if you read the entire article.
I
but-
did. I have. I've
All
read
right.
it.
You know what?
Almost twice.
Without polluting it and putting a bad question out there for you, because you say that I jump off the top rope at you at times.
No, I didn't say
What
that.
was your takeaway?
If we're being completely honest, I think there's a lot of truth in the article. There's a lot of truth in what is being said. That doesn't mean we get the full context or we're only getting one side of the situation. I think they put a good article out in terms of, I think they put out what they were told. I would love to know who the source is, but I think they're relaying what they were told. I believe that part of it. And I think there's some truth. We know there are limitations that Hurts has. Nobody has ever disputed that. So I think some of it, I think there's grains of truth in it. And then I think there's parts that are just one-sided on whoever's source's motivation may be, which we don't know.
How about some of the comments that there's an indication that he's hard to coach? I mean,
yeah,
you know,
this is one of those things that I always scratch my head, because you hear that come up, but then you hear from all these other coaches that he was one of the great joys to coach. He was a great player to coach. He's one of the easiest guys to coach. So I've heard both sides of that argument many, many times. So I don't know how to take it.
How about this though? And Mark, I'll ask you next here in a sec. Mark, if I had a coach who had never called plays before and calling defenses, and I was on a defense and I had played 10 years, you'd be hard to coach me too. When I know more than you and I've been in the league. So could it be some of that, Philly, that, you know what? You keep hiring these inexperienced guys. Now you got another inexperienced guy rolling in.
Well, and so this is what I don't get. If the problems are Hurts' resistance against under center, play action, motion, you go out and you hire a guy that's what he wants to do.
I don't get.
That makes me really wonder who the source is. They were obviously close enough to see the expressions on Nick Sirianni's face and Jalen Hurts during that last play call, which Nick Sirianni had no problem approving. So, when I hear things like that, it makes me wonder what the hell's going on.
Mark, you ready for this?
Uh-huh.
I think it's Jeff Stoutland.
Could be.
I think it's Kevin Petullo.
You know what? I'm
Could
just
be.
happy. Listen,
Yeah, but wait, Mark, get this. Why would Kevin Petullo and Nick are boys, and Nick protected him? Remember, Kevin Petullo wasn't fired. He was demoted. And until he got that job in Miami, remember, Nick protected him. But who was the guy who had an ass on the way out the door? The guy who they pushed out and had an ass.
Possibly. But also you got to remember, Petullo was technically after a while still on the team. How long were they working on this article? And who's the one guy who blamed everybody else all the time except for himself? Petullo.
Mark, what was your takeaway in this article?
Actually, I'm just here so I don't get fined. I'm happy just watching Philly melt down here on this one. But
this isn't a meltdown.
Okay. Here's what I will say though. Okay. Because we've been in kind of a situation here where you have the team talking about how much they loved Micah Parsons and things. But from time to time, you would get like a little bit of a blip where you hear that things weren't savory. Now, of course, the team is never going to go through and say, Jalen Hurts sucks and he's uncoachable. They're always going to defend the player out in public. But with Micah Parsons, we heard that inside the building, there were a lot of coaches that were kind of sick of his stick. You heard some little pieces from different players on the roster that are kind of saying, when we're getting run on all the time and you're out there doing a podcast and stuff, maybe you also concentrate. So there may be where there's a little bit of smoke with Jalen Hurts there and things aren't going right, that there is a soft underbelly current.
There's definitely some truth to it. There's definitely some truth within the article. I am definitely not saying that that's not the case, because I think there is. We know that he's got things he's got to work on. We know he's got limitations. And I don't think it's a stretch to see a quarterback. How many quarterbacks in this league want to do what they think works best and what they're comfortable with? So I think that all those things are not necessarily false at all.
Mark, to go with what he just said, Philly, and it's a great point what he said. Why do you hire a Kyle Shanahan guy when Hurts has been pushing back and going under center and turning his back to the defense? Why are you hiring that? Make that make sense to me. When you elevated Schottenheimer, Schottenheimer was there because he was the coordinator that fit the skill set of Dak and tried to make Dak a better player. Philly, why do you hire a guy against things the guy does and he's limited at?
Against things he fights, that he fights. He just doesn't like, he fights the coaches on it. Does that make any sense to you? Because I have a hard time.
I can tell you what it is.
Tell me.
When you don't want to be the bad guy, the team can't just come out and say, we're going to get rid of a $250 million quarterback. You make it uncomfortable so that way they're the one.
You think they're pushing him out the door?
That might be because, you need a plausible deniability.
Well,
here. Because, listen to me here. If that is the owner's guy and the owner wants to keep him and you are like, I can't coach this guy, I need to get rid of him. You try and make it as uncomfortable as possible so that way it becomes ugly. Then you've got no blame.
Philly, let's just say that what Mark is saying, just okay, put it out there like this.
One problem with that.
But wait, go like this with it. This is why maybe that yesterday, that glazed donut conversation that Lurie had. Lurie doesn't want to be made to look like the bad guy when they push this guy out. And I'll ask you this. You're right, Philly. Why hire people? Dude, it's like hiring a bus driver to be an airplane pilot. Why in God's name are you putting a guy in a building that has nothing to do with the quarterback skill set unless there was something else you're trying to do? Now, look, that sounds like self-sabotaging the 26th season, and I don't believe that. But this doesn't make sense.
Well, the problem with that, and I get Mark's point, and it's not a bad point, but the only thing I'll say to that is if they have a bad season to the point where Jalen Hurts is going to go, then Nick Sirianni's looking for a new job. He ain't going to last either. So you're going to tell me that he's willing to get himself fired to get Jalen Hurts out of there? I find it very interesting.
So you think they're connected, Philly?
And who took them to 2 Super Bowls, Mark? The same quarterback you're talking about pushing out. It's the same thing.
No, but I'm saying he's the GM who has won with 2 different quarterbacks. One who was
I'm talking about the coach, not the GM. I'm talking about the coach.
Well, yeah, the coach. But okay, I'll give you that one. But I don't know, man.
Yeah, but wait, Mark. Here's the thing in Philly, though. These coaches are interchangeable to them. They think it's more about their process, and they think it's more about the GM and the head coach than the players and the coaches. That's why look at the coordinator changes. Look at all the assistant coaching changes. Look at all the facts that you're looking at. All the coaching staff constantly get changed. You know why? They believe it's them. They believe they're more important, that the players and coaches are pawns in this thing. Mark, or wait a minute, Philly. It's true. They've won Super Bowls with 2 different organizations, basically, with Foles and with Wentz and with Doug. They went back and they got a Super Bowl and they've been to 2 with 2 other things. How do you not feel entitled and empowered knowing that you've done that twice, where very few people have ever. The Cowboys haven't done that.
I'm sure the GM feels that way. I'm sure the owner feels that way. It's weird because the AJ Brown thing dies, and as soon as the AJ Brown trade for the time being dies, here comes the attack on Hurts. And I'm not saying that it's false. I think there's some truth. I think there's truth mixed in with things that are bullcrap. And you got the coach the owner that gets up and talks in the press conference yesterday, right? And he talks about all the coaches they brought in that were great. Who's the one guy he doesn't mention? Nick Sirianni. Yeah. I find that kind of interesting, to be honest with you. I don't know what the exact connection is, but I think there could be more going on than we Mark, know on the surface.
You think this is AJ's people behind the scenes with Jeremy Fowler and Tim McManus?
I don't know, but I tell you what, yesterday seemed like the biggest AJ Brown love fest that you saw. You saw Howie Roseman, you saw Lori. Everybody was kissing AJ Brown's ass. Lori sitting there saying that, we got 2 number ones and, the best combination out here. And it was so much. And sometimes when you get that much sugar on somebody, there's something else going on behind the scene. I'm going to throw out a crazy theory out here. Knowing that the Eagles fired a head coach after he finally won a Super Bowl, getting rid of Andy Reid, would it be crazy if they tried to get rid of Jalen Hurts?
It wouldn't be crazy, in my opinion, if they got rid of Nick Sirianni or Jalen Hurts.
I can't argue. We've seen the Eagles do it before.
Do you believe?
Yeah.
Do you believe, Billy? Do you believe that Jalen is at a crossroads this year with this team?
I would have said before the article no, but now with the article, you got to wonder what's going on, and a lot of it is depending upon who the source is that we'll never know. I think that, and I said this to you last week, I think the great thing about this year coming up with Mannion is we're going to finally see. We're going to see if that's all the case. If all these things are the truth, we're going to find out. Before I came on here, one of the things I did is I went on JAKIB. I went and looked to Grok, and I looked up stuff about what Jalen Hurts has expressed and times that he has complained and things that his side has said. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's no complaining. There's no stories or the Hurts people said Hurts feels this way about the coach or the offense. Nothing. It's always one-sided. So we just got to remember in this whole thing, we're only hearing one side of the story. We're only hearing with one source or couple sources that may have a axe to grind with the guy. We just don't know.
And quite frankly, the 2 authors, of course, hey, by the way, Mark, as you know, and I believe, and I know Philly, in this article, the Eagles declined to comment for this story. Mannion is 33, entering his 3rd season as an NFL coach, first as an OC. ESPN interviewed more than a dozen sources and pulled back the curtain on what's ailing the Eagles' offensive situation and multiple players that they had reached out to, an anonymous source. So again, you tell me. Here's one thing that I thought was really kind of wild in this. You never know what's going to be the play coming out of the huddle because Hurts changes the play so much.
Okay. So this is the other thing that bothers me. Okay. Okay. So Hurts changes the plays. So every time there's a bad play, it was Hurts that changed the bad plays is the insinuation. However, when Kellen Moore was the coach, there was friction. But Kellen Moore stood up to him, and they settled and compromised. And they were actually, 11th? They were the 11th team using motion and stuff like that, right? They were ranked 11th. Yep. So Hurts was willing to compromise with Kellen Moore. He loves Steichen. Both those guys going to get head coaching jobs. Patullo and the other guy, they're gone. So to me, if Hurts is so bad, then how did Kellen Moore get him to do things that he wanted that made them ranked 11th in a year?
Mark, let me go here and ask you this then. How about this? What he just said, my takeaway would be Jalen Hurts doesn't have any respect for some of the guys that when Nick hires his buddies and brings his buddies in, then
And I
guess
can't
what?
blame him.
When Steichen is coaching, because Steichen coached Phillip Rivers, when you had a guy like Kellen Moore, who had a #1 offense in Dallas, those guys, again, were experienced play callers, and the other guys were not. I think this is a respect thing. I don't think he respects Nick Sirianni.
I agree. I agree. And what did Nick Sirianni do when Jalen Hurts said, what about 4 verticals? He didn't override him and say, that's a bad call. We're not doing that. This is what we're going to do. He said, okay.
Let me disagree slightly because, see, I know Kellen Moore was there, Super Bowl champion and stuff, but you had literally everything go right. Saquon was a better running back last year. Your offensive line was stout, okay? So things went along really good. It's kind of like the old saying that when you've got money, you got lots of friends. When you don't, they don't come around. This year, you had challenges where maybe Saquon had lost a step. Your offensive line is in flux. Kelsey being gone finally caught up to him. So now it's more on Jalen Hurts. And what it may be is Nick Sirianni is feeling the pressure and thinking, if I can make him the bad guy, maybe I can save my own ass. He's uncoachable. We've got the plays and things, and he goes out there and he changes it up. And that's where, when shit hits the fan, I'm going to try and save my ass. Fuck you. Excuse my language.
How about
and
this,
that's
guys?
exactly.
How about this? Maybe Hurts, maybe he performs better when he's got tense coaches in his face. Because he said the relationship between Kellen Moore and with him, where it's a tense relationship.
But he respected more.
Look at the places. Yeah, respect more. Well, when he was with Saban, all these guys. I mean, dude, I'll tell you, you know what intense is? Coach Jimmy Johnson looking you in the face going, sit your ass down.
Shoo.
I mean, maybe he performs better with that. Wasn't there a line in that article also that said there were too many yes men around him?
Yeah. And I have a real issue with the coach in that, like that last play. Jalen Hurts isn't the coach. He shouldn't be calling a play there. 4 verticals and they go with it. The coach they said they didn't make any effort to fight Jalen Hurts on that last play call. Now everybody's going to ride Hurts for making that play call, but he's just a quarterback suggesting a play. Why didn't the coach override him with some common sense? See, I think this is about the coach. I don't think you have a coach that he respects too much. I don't think he respected Patullo. I think he respected Steichen. I think he respected Kellen Moore. And, Saquon Barkley was there and we won the Super Bowl. And that running game hid and masked a lot of these issues. But at the same time, 2 years ago when they were 10-1, the same issues on offense started to creep up. They collapsed. Same thing happened. The year before that, they go to the Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley. So to me, I have to wonder about a lot of. I don't challenge, and I don't believe the guys that wrote the article are lying or doing a hit piece. Like I don't feel that's what they're doing. But the source that they're using, I really wonder about their motivations. For this.
I gotta say, Mark, for the first time in 20 years. I can't remember the Dallas Cowboys offseason being so quiet and watching the Eagles and all this stuff going on. AJ, now this dossier that comes out on the character of the quarterback in Philadelphia. How are Cowboy fans taking that article? What are the people that are Cowboy fans? What are they saying about the Eagles?
You know what? I'm going to tell you exactly what's happening. I said this about 6 months or so ago. The Eagles have become the new media darlings for being picked on because they've kind of moved on the Cowboys. It's not so much fun. It's the Eagles drama that's now moving the needle. I don't know if this is, maybe blown out of more than what it really is. I mean, there's always some friction between quarterbacks, receivers, and coaches and things. And this may be an article that's been kind of shaded to make it sound worse than it is because, it used to be you talk about the Cowboys, everybody's going to watch. And now everybody's looking for the car crash and rubbernecking what's going on with the Eagles.
It just shows you how irrelevant the Dallas Cowboys have been in 30 years, right? I mean, if people are moving off them because there's nothing to talk about, it just shows you how irrelevant. Yeah. And I got to say this also. I mean,
But there is
Jalen Hurts is thrown under the table. We're talking about stuff about like this stuff right here. If Dak Prescott was held to the same standard,
oh my God,
as
Jalen
Hurts,
oh fuck you,
it would have been amazing.
Bro, hold on. Hold the hell on. We had the media counting interceptions in practice, okay? We had Dak
Cowboys
lighting up Trayvon Diggs all practice and everything else. Runs past him for a touchdown, and the man says, shut your bitch ass up after getting burnt. And everybody's talking about, oh, nobody likes Dak Prescott. They're disrespecting him. Don't give me that shit. Because I tell you what, my quarterback is out working out with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Is your guy out there working out with AJ right now these days?
the only person that holds Dak Prescott accountable is his ex-fiance. The rest of them don't do anything. That's the truth.
Oh Lordy!
I'll tell you. Who do you think? Wait a second.
Why is Trix keep saying I'm having a meltdown? Dude, you haven't seen a meltdown if you think this.
Hey, wait a minute.
You look a little bit nervous there, Philly. You kind of moving around and you're rubbing your face.
Who do you think gets more media criticism, Dak Prescott or Jalen Hurts?
Oh, Jalen Hurts.
Oh, come on.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now?
So,
are you kidding me?
You know what?
You're joking,
wait,
right?
No.
You're joking.
You know what I'm going to say?
You're joking.
Okay, watch this. Dak Prescott gets criticism for playoff losses. Jalen Hurts gets
criticism. Who criticized?
Wait. Let me finish.
Who?
Dak gets criticized for playoff losses. Jalen gets criticized for his play.
Okay. Yeah. Jalen Hurts gets criticized.
What are we talking about here?
Really? So Dak gets criticized for playoff losses?
You criticize him every time.
I'm the only one. Let me ask you something. Are you talking about he gets criticized for playoff losses? You mean his play in playoff losses? Because
here we go.
We're talking about Jalen Hurts' play, or we're talking about Dak Prescott's play in
Hurts
playoffs?
carry the team every single game.
It's not even close. It's not even close.
Hey, Mark, is Jalen Hurts getting criticized right now for his play and his ability right now?
Yes.
Dak Prescott gets off the hook. I've never seen a fan base more easy on a guy. Dak Prescott would never have lasted.
To be clear here,
ever.
When the Cowboys have lost in the playoffs, everybody played great except for Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott threw 10 interceptions in each one of those and let his teammates down because Zeke Elliott was rushing.
Oh yeah, but you just bring it to one extreme.
Come on,
you just always do that to one extreme. Dak Prescott, the franchise quarterback in the playoffs in games that matter, he always comes up small. Just like that Minnesota game where you guys were trying to get back in the playoff on, and you go lose a J.J. McCarthy. Don't, please.
And J.J. McCarthy is playing against
Jalen Hurts
that literally gave J.J. McCarthy a fifth of his touchdown passes.
I'm going to agree.
Jalen Hurts
wait a second.
is the most criticized player in the league.
I'm going to agree with you, but you have to look at, okay, if we want, Mark, go with me on this here. Listen, guys, if you're going to criticize Dak Prescott for choking in the playoffs, okay, he doesn't play great in a playoff game. I've never seen an article criticizing Dak for being a bad quarterback. Like ever.
And being uncoachable.
Right, and you won't because nobody will criticize.
I just read one.
No, Jalen Hurts. What's the Dak Prescott article?
What I'm saying is I've never seen an article where anyone questioned the ability of Dak Prescott. Him melting down in postseasons, you're not wrong. Hang on. He doesn't play well. Let's just say that. He doesn't play well. I've never seen an article like that for being uncoachable and for not being able and being limited for Dak Prescott. I've never seen an article on Dak like that.
I don't think you're going to see any articles criticizing him in any form or fashion because they have given him a pass since the beginning.
You don't wait, Dak. Are you saying that Dak's not a good quarterback?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying Dak has gotten for the standard in which people hold quarterbacks up to.
Okay.
He has never been held to that standard because any other quarterback,
bullshit, man.
including
You have-
Jalen Hurts,
you
would
are
be
so
held to
full
a
of it,
much
man.
harder standard to have that kind of playoff record after
No,
11 years. That's
To
just the
always
fact.
trade Dak. Oh,
That's
Andy
facts.
Dalton. There's no difference between Andy Dalton and Dak Prescott. In Rush, we trust that the Cowboys be better off moving on from Dak Prescott and having Cooper Rush as their quarterback. Come on, man.
Who said
Come on.
that? I don't know.
Literally,
know
I got
anything
people
about that.
now saying Sam
I don't know
Howell.
anything about that.
We can
I
let go
agree
of
with
Dak and
Philly.
we'd be
Nobody
okay
with
with Sam
brains.
Howell.
Nobody with brains is saying that's like people saying put Tanner McKee. I mean, that's dumb.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
dumb.
That's just
bullshit.
people in a chat speaking.
Listen, but Mark, one thing I will say about Dak,
Bayless,
I've
Colin
never seen
Cowherd.
an article. I've never seen an article criticizing Dak in the pocket, like
Nope.
ever. But I see articles all the time about Jalen, and we just witnessed this. And one came out today that it's like one of the longest articles I've ever seen on a quarterback who's as much of a winner. And to you, Philly, let me say this. Okay, do you think why is everyone doing this? Who gives a shit how it looks? It's not how you drive, it's how you arrive. Why are people caring so much with the cosmetics of it? You're 50-18 in 4 years. Massive success. Why is the quarterback getting criticized so much?
I mean, I don't get it. And the only thing I think, sometimes I really believe this, is I believe that there's a deflection with the head coach and some of his weaknesses and inefficiencies. And the offensive coordinator, who was his best friend, if you look how he responded in press conference, I feel like a lot of this is done to attack a guy who they know is not going to come back and fire back or say anything in the media, and is just going to let whatever go out there. And they do it to save their own ass, because I think the coaching is really been the biggest problem. I'm sorry, but as all the things that we're talking about with Jalen Hurts, why did the coach allow a lot of these things to happen? Why can't you stand up to the quarterback and say, no, we're not doing this. This is what we're going to do. So to me, it comes back at the end of the day to another coaching problem. It's the same coach.
You think it's a head coaching problem there, Mark?
Here's what I'm going to say. Okay. In the same way, Sam Darnold, I don't know if you look and say Sam Darnold is just that they won a Super Bowl because of Sam Darnold, or because you look at it and say that they're a complete team. The Eagles, you won that Super Bowl because you could run the football and you had the threat of being able to run the football. You had a great offensive line. You had two great wide receivers. You had an incredible defense. It's a team sport. And see, unfortunately, the Cowboys are the polar opposite of that, where it's a couple of guys that are really good, that are Pro Bowlers, a few All-Pros and things, and it's not a complete team. And it may be one of those things where they look and they say, we have such a good team that maybe Jalen Hurts is kind of the weaker link in here, and maybe we need to look elsewhere. Or maybe we can look elsewhere for something that's cheaper.
Well, Seattle just won a Super Bowl with a $30 million quarterback.
That's what I'm saying, because they had a great team.
Now, I want to ask you guys this question here. A couple more here left here. So, Mark, and I'll go Philly, and I'll ask you. And I did this to Zander, and I want to see where you guys are on this. You guys think Phil Jackson is a great coach, Mark? You think he's a great coach? 12 NBA championships.
Kind of. If it's all about winning the championships, you got to say he's a great coach.
What about you, Philly?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. So when you have Michael Jordan and you have Shaquille O'Neal and you have Kobe Bryant, and you say turn and shoot, and then when you're asked to go and build a team in New York, and you're asked to coach that team and build that team in New York, and you fall flat on your face, is it about the talent around the coach, or is it about the coach that can build the team around him, like what Jimmy did in Dallas when you were a Dallas Cowboy fan, watching all those guys being built, bringing in his own coaching staff? So is a coach a product of the talent around him, or is it the coach? Because I saw Kyle Shanahan with a JV team beat the Eagles, and that was great coaching. To me, I see great coaching. I see great coaching, and sometimes I see coaches like Philly just said. I mean, for Verts, how come the coach didn't just do this? We're going to run the ball. I would rather have had them run the ball on 4th and something like right there than throw within triple coverage. Where was the coaching? So my question is to you, Mark. Is Sirianni a product of the talent around him? Or is he a good coach?
I think it's the talent around him. I'd look at it and say, I honestly, after that Super Bowl last year that you won, I looked at that and said, that's the closest team that I've seen like the 90s Cowboys, where you looked at it and say, where's the weakness? Where's the weakness? Because you were good at every level of the field. And it's a lot easier to coach. Like for Norv Turner, when he had Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith, the best offensive line in football, and Alvin Harper, a Jay Novacek, and a Troy Aikman. Hell, I'd look like a great coach if I had that.
Phillies, Eagles that year in 24, their greatness covered their deficiencies.
Yes.
So do you think the talent level that Howie's put around Nick is a benefit of the room, isn't he?
I do.
Really?
Without a doubt.
I honestly do. I honestly do. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I feel like this is our version of Barry Switzer. You know, I do, because I feel like he had a ton of talent. Now, I do think there's some things Nick does good with, maybe managing the players and personalities. But, you know, there are certain things that he does that he gets away with that I don't think on a lesser talented team you could get away with, you know, and I think it all blew up when you saw his attitude with going after that second seed, and the way he was so dismissive and was the only coach in the league that didn't care about possibly being a second seed instead of a third. I thought it showed a lot about him. I think, you know, why do you have a team that collapses those, right? You go to the Super Bowl and you're 10-1. You're 10-1, and you have a historic collapse. Then you come back and you win a Super Bowl, but then the next year you have a kind of like a minor
collapse.
Yeah, and to me that's coaching.
Listen, when that Super Bowl season, when you looked at the talent on the Cowboys versus the Eagles, or the Commanders versus the Eagles, or the Giants, it was like varsity versus JV. You guys were loaded and you stayed healthy. That makes a difference in things. It's a lot easier when you have everything. You know, you had two great receivers and a great tight end and a great running game. If I'm a defensive coordinator, am I going to put 8 men in the box to try and Saquon and let, you know, A.J. Brown kill me downfield? What am I going to do? How do you stop that? And you don't have to be great as a quarterback when you have that situation. Unfortunately,
see, we're having two conversations. We're talking about the coaching, and he's talking about Dak Prescott.
No, I'm saying, no, listen. I'm saying when you have problems, when you start losing players, when the running game isn't working well, that's when the coaching comes in and makes a difference, where you can figure out, okay, here's what we can do since Saquon is only getting 50 yards. Here's what we can do to beat this coverage. And here's the matchup that we're looking for. And you didn't have that last year. When your shit wasn't working and coaches making adjustments, you weren't scoring the second half of games.
Every quarterback has their weakness. They have their limitations, right? One of the things that I feel like hurts, that people have to say and have to admit, even as haters, is that he performs well in clutch situations. He's that kind of quarterback. His best games come when there's pressure on him. So I kind of like that this came out in a way, because these are the kind of things that Hurts feeds on. But he does great in pressure situations in big games. His best 2 games of his career were the Super Bowl. He came one drive away from winning a Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley on the team. So I believe that he has that part of him. But there are deficiencies he's got to work on. There are things he's got to get better at. And he needs coaching that is willing to make sure that they challenge him the right way without just saying, we'll do whatever you say.
Mark, last one here for you. Give me your sense of what you're thinking about Myles Garrett. Do you really believe that they're going to try to do everything they can to possibly make a trade for him? Maybe the Raiders and John Spytek are still taking calls, you know, for Max Crosby. I mean, do you still think there's a pre-move before the draft, or maybe even a post-June move for you? Because I'm going to go to Philly here in a minute because I think the Eagles are going to have a big decision to make. There's 2 decisions to make for the Eagles. Are you picking up the option on May 15th of Nolan Smith? And are you going to make that trade June 1 for AJ? So I'm going to go to you here in a minute, Philly, on that. But what about it, Mark? You think the Cowboys make one big move before the draft or post?
I don't
June
think
1?
the Cowboys will entertain doing that. They love their first round picks too much. And if you go through the history of teams that have traded 2 number 1s, there's only one example where it's actually worked out. And that's when they traded Matthew Stafford and Jalen Ramsey. They both gave up 2 number 1s. But if you look at all of them, from the Cowboys trying to get Joey Galloway to the Colts trying to get Eric Dickerson to Khalil Mack going to the Bears, it doesn't work out. And it ends up being a disaster in the long run. I'm hoping that the Eagles take 3 number 1s and get Myles Garrett. Do it. Do it. Because the defense isn't your problem.
Well, I'll
your
tell you
offense is.
Well, here. I made this up here well, how about this, Philly? Okay, this is what I do. If it costs me 3 1s, I move out of the first round this year, go down to 32 or down there, collect 2 first rounds next year, trade AJ Brown post June 1. I got 3 first rounders coming up next year. I cover my deal with Myles Garrett, and I get Myles Garrett on my team. I got better. If I move AJ and I get Myles, I get better with 3 1s next year. So I mean,
I've already done videos on getting 3 1s, not necessarily for Myles, but loading up in that 2027 draft. I think if the Eagles get Myles Garrett, they're going back to the Super Bowl. I just keep it real. I also think if you could do it, and my only difference with you is if I could keep AJ Brown, I would like to do that as well, because
so you think
can't
that
sit there and have an article today talking about a guy needs this and he needs that, and then take his best weapon. How does that help?
So you think that relationship is not beyond repair? AJ
No,
Brown.
I don't believe we're in a situation that if AJ's not traded, he's going to be doing push-ups in the driveway. I don't think it's going to be like that kind of situation. And I prefer to keep him. But, I always go back to what is the compensation. Because if you're talking a first-round pick, then I say do it. But if we're talking second and fourth, second, third, there's no chance. No chance.
Philly, one of my favorite videos of all time.
Right. Yeah. I know. Now we get it on a weekly basis with Mark.
I mean, hey, Mark, I got to tell you, man, you look how happy you are. You're just so, Philly, look at him.
Please just remember, Sills. Remember this moment in December.
Oh, boy.
Okay, when the Christmas tree is up.
Man.
Remember
hope that the Cowboys aren't good next year and the Eagles are bad.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Or you won't want me to come in here every week and the Cowboys are lighting people up.
Oh, I know how Cowboy fans are when you guys are winning. I had a deal with the 90s. I remember. But I'll say this.
He just went.
I'll tell you this. I think the Cowboys need Max Crosby. I think that's what moves the needle. Like, I look at what they did, and I don't really think they moved the needle that much. They got a little bit better, but a Max Crosby deal, or Myles Garrett,
you don't
something
think
like that.
You don't think keeping that offense intact got them better? I do.
Who? Dallas?
Keep it.
Well, how can you get? How does it make you better when you already were?
And then
then how does Myles Garrett move the needle for you? The same
because
you said about your defense.
Rashad Gary, you had Rashad Gary. He's an 8-sack guy. He's not a bad. I'll tell you what,
he's not a bad guy. But
Rashad Gary's just as good as Jalen Phillips.
Yeah, but what did they just lose? How many sacks did what's his face have for you guys?
Clowney had 8.
Yeah.
Well, that's a loss for sure.
Right. So to me, you're just replacing an 8-sack guy with an 8-sack guy.
Our defensive line. Okay, here's what I'll say. Our defensive line, interior defensive line, is definitely going to be stout for once. You have Donovan Iraku, who I think is going to take a step. I know he had the hip surgery, but he's actually looked like he's put on some more weight and looks really, really good. We don't know what we're going to do in the draft. And the Cowboys definitely
Linebackers.
once are talking about trying to get a linebacker. They've called
Styles.
about Brooks in Miami and things like that. And Jerry
Get Styles.
Well, that we'll see if he falls there or if they
Bro,
decide
you
to move
get
up
or
on
move
that.
up. You go get Styles. You put that guy in that Cowboy defense with that 4-4-3 at 6'5",
Yeah.
and you put that game tape on. That guy is a sandbox guy.
He's a beast. He's good.
He's
player.
one of the sandbox guys in the draft. There's like 6 of them, and he's one of them.
Yeah, there's not many. That's why I like the idea of like if the Eagles, not just trading down, but trading and making sure you get a first next year. I have no problem loading up with first round picks next year with the amount of quality coming out. I think the Eagles got to go offensive line in the first round if they keep the pick. But I do think Dallas, to me, if Dallas got Max Crosby or Miles, I think you could say that that team has gotten a lot better because their offense is already good, but it's their defense that has to get better. See, and for the Eagles, the reason I think like a Myles Garrett would completely would send the Eagles back to Super Bowl was because I think that defense would be really, really good. I mean, they were already good. And Jalen Phillips, if you look at what he did to help improve that team on that edge, was fantastic. You had a guy like a Garrett to play with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. Holy crap. I think if you have a chance, and I'm not saying the Eagles are going to do it, but I'm going to say if you have a chance to do something like that, you got to take a shot, dude. It's like you got to take a shot. I just think that a guy like that is a generational player. He comes about how often. You have to do it. And I do think that the Browns are trading him. I do not believe the Browns are not trading him. I don't know where he's going, but he's getting traded.
Hey, Mark, what's the shirt?
Oh, shirt. Win the whole effing thing.
Win the whole effing thing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Major League.
I like it. Hold yourselves to those standards, buddy. All year long.
Right. Hey, for something to happen, you got to first believe that it can happen. That's the first step.
Well, you got the. I mean, you don't think getting a guy like Crosby or Garrett for Dallas
I agree.
would change things?
And especially if they can get Crosby at a discount because he's probably not going to be ready until July or August. And so at that point, you might.
Yeah, but that meniscus injury, I wouldn't sweat that thing, man. I know guys who play without both of them. I wouldn't sweat that shit. I think what the Ravens did was bullshit. Okay. And to me, meniscus injury, dude. Okay. We had Dr. Chow on it. Dr. Chow said his was like replacing the sod versus mowing the sod. He goes, it just takes a little more time and recovery. I've had my meniscus shaved. He had his meniscus replaced. That's a little deeper, but you can play with it. It's just a comfort level. And you put Crosby on that defense on the other side of Rashad Gary.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and Quentin Williams in the middle.
Yeah.
And you get maybe a Styles in there somewhere. Bro, you're rocking.
That would move the needle to me when I look at the Cowboys. It really
Look
would.
at Mark right there. Can you hey Philly, the worst thing that would happen is if that team wins 13 games this coming year, this guy would be unbearable. If that guy
I know.
All games,
I know.
And
until
then you know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Until that playoff interception by Dak Prescott late in the fourth quarter.
To answer Zander's question earlier when he was talking about the 96 win against the Eagles, the divisional round, that was for the 95 season. That was January 7th.
Okay.
That was the Super Bowl.
That was a horrible day. That was a blizzard. It was a giant blizzard.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to inflict any more pain.
That was a blizzard in Dallas?
No, in Philly. We had a blizzard there. You're talking about that's the last Reggie White game, right? Where he played New Orleans. They beat New Orleans. That was when they were playing JB99, bringing home for Jerome. And they go to Dallas, and Dallas was on the way up, and they beat the crap out of us. And it was blizzard.
Reggie's last year in Philly was 96?
No, I don't think it was 96.
95.
95.
Yeah, it was something. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was out of high school and I was stuck at my cousin's, and it was a blizzard.
Jerome died in 92. Reggie played 3 more years there? Huh.
Yeah.
I thought it was only 2 more, but okay.
Everybody doesn't realize Reggie played most of his career in
Oh
Philly.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was a shorter stay, and it was a shorter stay in Green Bay.
And how old was he when he went to Green Bay? I don't remember. He had to be like 32 years old.
32 or something like that.
And he still had 4 good years left.
Remember though, he played 2 years in the USFL.
In the USFL. Yeah.
With the Birmingham Stallions before he got there. And so he got into the NFL. He was already like 23, 22 years old when he left Tennessee. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that line? How about that
that?
line, Mark? Mark, what the hell are you laughing at, man? Why
I'm just so happy that that I ended up being here on your show. I enjoy this every week, and I'm so happy that I've stayed. I'm just happy to be here.
Philly,
happy at mediocrity. That's
Philly,
what it is.
do you see that everybody's melting down in Philly right now over this article right now? You understand?
I know, and I see people saying that I'm melting down, and I'm really not melting down. But I look. There's truth to the article, and we have to accept it. But there's also a lot of other stuff in that article to, I think, make Jalen Hurts look unfairly bad.
Mark,
to be honest with you.
can I make an observation about Philly?
What's that?
Because this article came out, boy, he's explained a lot today. Do you know?
Yeah, I'm just wondering where the DAC glasses are and things. I haven't seen that kind of stuff in a while.
I'm just like, I don't know, man. I mean,
What do you mean? I explained a lot. What do you mean?
What do you mean? Well, I think you've I think this article's made you think a little bit about her.
Of course. It has to. You have to think about what the hell is going on. I mean, look, we know.
You're right. It's a Nick thing. You're right. It's a Nick thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think I think the one thing people are missing, I think this really falls more back on Jalen Hurts too. But I also think the coach is showing you that he is not doing a good enough job. Because why do you let a player walk all over you like that? It just is hard for me to understand. I think about the beginning of the article and how they're talking about how Patullo's calling the plays and then Jalen Hurts chimes in and they're all looking at each other. And he goes 4 verticals. And Nick just goes, all right. Yeah, let's, it's like.
Can you imagine?
I don't know. I don't get it.
Can you imagine if Dak called 4 verts?
Oh, they'd be killing him. They'd kill him.
They kill Hurts.
No, they wouldn't.
They'd kill him anyway.
They would say, "Oh no, the receiver slipped on the route," or "Oh no."
Hey!
It wouldn't
Mark,
be Dak's fault.
Did you hear the new nickname? Did you hear
What's
the
the
new
new
nickname
nickname?
for Hurts?
What's
4 verts Hurts.
Oh. Oh shit.
Mark, make that a shirt.
Mark, is that going to be a video? 4 verts Hurts.
That's a
That
shirt.
might be 4 verts Hurts.
4 verts. Oh my god!
Guys.
See, and that's crazy to me. Where's the coach in all that, dude? Seriously, why didn't the coach say no? We're not running 4 verts. Sorry, Jalen. Something else.
4th and 11, triple coverage. I don't get it, guys. Mark, I can't wait to see the new videos. I see you all over the place everywhere. And Billy, woo, baby, man, I think that article was an eye opener even for you a little bit here. I'm not saying that you didn't know some of it, but to hear that a guy potentially could be uncoachable. I mean, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Listen, if you're talking about a scale of 10, I probably believe that as a 6. There's, like you said, some truth to it. Do I believe that he's completely uncoachable? Absolutely not. You don't get that far and win that many games being uncoachable.
No,
That's completely ridiculous and impossible to do that, okay?
Right.
But look at Mark Combs just over
Where
there.
there's smoke, there's fire.
Look at him over there, man. This guy's drunk with the Eagle misery.
That's fine.
He's
It's
just
only
drunk
March,
with it.
or it's only April.
This is what it's like being an Eagle fan, right? Just crapping on other people.
We don't crap on anybody. We always got our own thing going on. We don't need to worry about anybody else.
Guys, I appreciate you very much, and it's
Thank
my
you.
favorite segment. It's my favorite. Thank you guys for staying out a little longer. Appreciate
Thank
it
you, my man.
very much.
Appreciate
Have
it.
a nice
See
day,
ya.
Philly.
Yeah. Oh my God, man, that was good. Let me read some of these comments here. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Please hit the like button. Philly doesn't have good arguments today. His boy, Jalen, got ripped in the article, and he has to sit there and take it for now. All right? See here. 2 wild card wins for Dak. My only problem with the conversation we had was I've never heard anybody ever rip Dak Prescott for his ability. Like ever. Hey, watch this. If you want to go down that lane, Dak chokes in playoffs. Dak hasn't played good in the playoffs. Okay? I've never heard somebody say this. He sucks as a player and a quarterback. That article was a question of how he sees the game, how he reads defenses, how he doesn't like motion, how he doesn't like to have his back turned to the defense. None of that ever is questioned with Prescott. It's never. Well, good. Jalen Hurts and Jalen Hurts and Wentz have a lot in common. They paid Hurts too early. It'd have cost about the same after 23. Might have got such a big head. That's because Jerry Jones, all the media that covers the Cowgirls. Okay? A lot of Dallas Cowboy media. Jalen Hurts should change his number to 4. Sounds like Sirianni did an anonymous interview about who called the play. That's Nick. Nick's the behind-the-scenes guy. AJ should invite Verts to his book club. Maybe they could learn to read there. 4 Verts Hurts. That's too funny, man. Let me see if I got everybody up here. Hold on for a second. I got everybody. Question. What has Strawberry Daiquiri done? Nothing. Dak's not being called out. And he's at a crossroads in Dallas. You're not looking at it right. How could you have that kind of win and be at a crossroads? You're talking about the quarterback being at a crossroads in his career. If any other quarterback had that resume, they'd be talking about Hall of Fame, not crossroads. Get this. So the quarterback has a resume with all those accomplishments. And here's a lead article in Sports Illustrated today. Oh, let me hit like. There you go. Inside Eagles friction. Jalen Hurts stands at a crossroads in 2026. Instead of talking about a Hall of Fame guy, you're talking about a guy who could be fired at the end of this year. Ask yourself, how's that possible? Yeah, what's this? Dak's known as a choker. Hurts is known as not a very good passing quarterback. The Cowboys media control everything like the Eagles media does. Jerry doesn't mind criticism from the flagship station. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He says, I think you're onto something with Stoutland being the source. Oh, I completely agree. I think it's a butthurt coach that gave that inside scoop like that. There's very few people that were standing on the sidelines. Ask yourself this. Okay? Here, I want to go back to the article. And this is how you know who it was. Okay? Listen to this. It's in the first part of the article. With 43 seconds in the wild card game against the 49ers, offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo fiddled with his red pen. Scanning the play sheet, quarterback Jalen Hurts stood in front of him, leaning in to speak to his play caller. Coach Nick Sirianni was nearby, listening to the chatter. A few assistants and a backup quarterback and Tanner McKee were within earshots. Was Jeff Stoutland on the sidelines during football games? And would he have been in that huddle on the final play call of the season? Yes or no? Was Stoutland in that huddle? Let me see if there's a picture of it. Let's take a look at the 4th and 11. Picture of Hurts and Sirianni. Let's see who was on the sidelines. Jalen Hurts, 4th and 11. Final play. Eagles and 49ers. Playoff game. Here we go. Images. Let's see here. Oh, there's Jeff Stoutland, Kevin Patullo, Nick Sirianni, and Jalen Hurts. We're all standing on the sidelines. What other assistant coaches? Nobody was standing on the sidelines but those men. So you have to show yourself this. It's either Patullo, it's either Nick, it's either Jalen. Somebody told Jeremy Fowler that. Who else? Few assistants were in earshot? Like who? I only see those coaches. Yeah. If you don't run play action out of the donation that you run the ball, that doesn't work. I always knew Jalen doesn't want to turn his back on the defense. Stoutland is still in the building. 13 years with the Birds. Patullo's the rat. Stoutland said he has no role on the team. And Sirianni said in Phoenix, we've moved on from Jeff. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Oh, that's right. You bought the bullshit of Lane. Got it. Now, one person knows that song without, yeah, I don't know what you're talking, real. Who cares who the rat is? Where's the lie? Great. Yes, there's no lie. Tricky part is multiple sources. It can be Stoutland, Nick, or Patullo, or all of the above. Whew. Man, how does WIP and all them guys? Let me see if the Eagles have started their campaign of making sure that they've worked on their PR campaign. Okay, no, not yet. It's yet to come. Next couple days, the PR campaign will come out to make Hurts look like he's Joe Montana and Tom Brady. I need to know what is on the Big Sills menu tonight. I'm not telling you. I don't know. Jalenites are scrambling to figure out how to spin this article. Oh, no. DFW. Here's how they've spun it. DFW. Here's how they've spun it. You ready? The article is a lie. Fowler and Tim McManus are horrible humans. It's a lie. The article is filled with lies. It's AJ's fault. It's Nick Sirianni's fault. It's all the coordinators' faults. It's not the quarterback's fault. It's Big Sills' fault. I don't think McKee would. No, hell no, he's not going to do it. That Brody's media channel is already making excuses for Hurts. Who's Brody? Oh, let me guess. He's got to be a nothing guy or a no-name media dude in Philly. Why doesn't the source stand behind what he says? I told you this before. I believe what Jeremy Fowler and, hey, dude, who was the source behind Watergate that brought down the President of the United States? The Washington Post brought down the President of the United States with unnamed sources. Woodward and Bernstein brought the President of the United States down with unnamed sources. If everybody in the building feels like Jalen is so horrible, why be anonymous? Because they want to keep their jobs. So what? You're going to be the offensive line coach and say that the guy's horrible? Eagles are done with Hurts. They let this be public. Yeah, because look, right in the article. Right in the article. There it is right there. This is all you need to know why this thing was told to them before that glazed donut owner. Eagles declined commenting on the story. ESPN interviewed more than a dozen sources to pull back the curtain on what's ailing the Eagles offense, full of notable talent, including at quarterback. They talked to people on the team as players, coaches, and other people inside the building. Hey, you doing? McManus and Fowler are two of the most respected reporters there are. People who don't trust them or their sources have their heads in the sand. How does NBC Sports Philly react to the let me see. It's a great call. Let's see how. Here, let me do it. Let me see what the that's a great call. Because Angelo and I have been out. Let's go to WIP here. Let's see what they're doing. Let's see here. Anything. Da-dee-da-da. Let's see here. Jalen Hurts ESPN story. Hugh Douglas highlights the similarities between Jalen Hurts and Russell Wilson. Wow. Never thought of that before. Jalen Hurts and Russell Wilson. Hugh compared them to the same people. Jackass Neil joining Sills Fart Holmes orgy today. Stop crying, dude. I got to read the article. I don't have an opinion on the actual article yet. These people who want a Ivy League prep school quarterback hate everything Hurts does. I don't give a shit who he is. .5 said it was basically nothing new in the story. Kind of downplaying the article, which is in line with their pro-Jalen narratives. That's not what they've been saying about the quarterback. We're the only ones that have been saying it for 5 years. John, too. Dude. Come on, man. Let's see here. Here. This new staff. Have they made it hard on the new staff now? Or is this going to make it easier on the staff? Maybe this article makes it easier. Maybe Jalen, again, being called out. Hey, ask yourself this. You think the Eagles wanted this story out? And I got to tell you about the owner. Zander, everyone, I wonder if this is where we're going here. Okay, I wonder if this is where we're going. You think the owner of the football team, the reason why he is completely glazing, he doesn't want to be made to look like the bad guy when they move off of him? And that this is all going to be on the coach and on the GM because he couldn't make it work, and that Jeffrey Lurie, it pained him to have to move off of him because these guys are they making it so that it's going to make the court, get this, it's going to make it easier for the owner to do this. If this guy doesn't play well in 26, and the only reason that you hired these guys are do everything Jalen doesn't do. If Hurts can't conform to the new offense, the owner's going to come out and go, he's my guy. I love him. I love him. Pressure came from within the organization. Jalen Hurts can't run this offense. I didn't want to move off of him, but I had to. You don't think the fact that there's no guaranteed money is colliding with this and this new approach? It's so much easier to move off the guy. Now, here's the golden nugget, though, for Hurts. Jalen's got a no trade. He's got a no trade in his contract. I mean, Jalen's got leverage. Hey, you could do whatever you want. You want to sit me on the bench? So be it. I'm not thinking he'd want to sit there and he would demand a trade. Where do you want to go? Pittsburgh? Steelers love that kid. Steelers need a quarterback. Hurts in Pittsburgh? Every year the Eagles pick a scapegoat. Lurie is setting up Jalen to be the scapegoat this year. No, I think he's setting up the coach and the GM. The voices will be louder through the season. I'll tell you what, DFW. If that football team shits the bed out of the gate and they crap the bed, I can promise you the screams will be early in the season. He's 5 to 7% intermediate thrower of the ball, but it's the coaches. Best case for Jalen is they bench him. The guy goes 1-4, and Jalen is named the starter again. Not first game. No way. No way. Listen, I'll tell you what, as a player on that team, for me, Jalen Hurts has got all season to prove it. He's built that equity up. You can't deny him that. And if the Eagles were to pull him at any time this coming year, in my opinion, that's a disservice to the guy's resume and what he's accomplished. You have to let that guy play all 17 ball games if he can. You could not start jacking around with the guy in week 7. You cannot do that. You have to give him every opportunity. He deserves that, and he has earned that every opportunity. You disagree? So a guy who goes 50-18 and wins 2 NFC championships in a Super Bowl, and he was 11 wins a year ago in a down season, doesn't deserve the equity to have a full year to dig himself out of it? Okay? I completely disagree with that. If you think they're going to bench him over an hour, who said that? You're not talking to me. Look at this. There's 0% chance Hurts falters this year. Well, he did a year ago. Get this. And here's a guy, too. He's at a crossroads for his hero. I don't ever remember a guy with a resume like that at a crossroads. Hey, Hurts is at a crossroads. And this guy's still defending. Get this. I've never seen a guy with a resume like that shit on for his ability. I've never seen that. I have never seen a guy crapped on for his ability. Like ever. They're basically saying Hurts is uncoachable and he's not very good in the pocket. And I've never heard a guy with a resume like that, anyone ever saying that. Hey, that guy sucks. You can't bet. No. You can't bet your guy with $250 million in a no trade. Where are you getting that? Get that. Who? Wait a minute. Underdog. You can't bench a dude. You can't bench a guy that's got a no trade clause in his contract and he makes $250 million. This ain't college ball, man. I'm dying to vine with that guy. Hurts is some of the best deep balls from the pocket with pressure in his face. My friend, being a deep passer doesn't win Super Bowls. Ask Mahomes and Brady. So what? He could throw the deep pass. Big freaking deal. That's so overrated. Brady's not a deep passer. Mahomes is not a deep passer. Darnold didn't win throwing the deep pass. What are you talking about? That's like saying a quarterback's 40-yard dash matters. Sills, is all those new offensive coaches on one-year contracts? Good call. I don't know that. I'll check that. That's a good call. That's a good call. I don't know that. That's because AJ already has the deal in place. Yes, he does. Second. AJ. I'll be right again. Sills right on Hurts. Sills right on AJ. Oh, it's only a matter of time. You see what's happened here. Big Sills is like quicksand. It doesn't really take you down right away. It just comes down and eventually you sink. And, it takes a little time. But we're like quicksand. Damn, Sills. You've been right the whole time. Damn, man. That guy that's on that one channel, what's the guy? That Psycho guy, Dan Psycho. No, it's Sileo. No, it's Psycho, Dan Psycho. I can't believe it. The WIP reporter was right about what? Keeping statistics on how the ball never hit the ground in practice and OTAs? Give Sills his flowers. Where can you send them? Right here to JAKIB. Bang. Hey. Yo, quicksand? Your pitcher's cooked. Fix it at the what, the pitcher in the back is cooked? What are you talking about? What picture there, man? Let's see here. My pitcher's cooked in the back. Got to fix that puppy back there? All right. We're going to take a break here in a couple seconds. I'll do it now. By the way, since we got to pay some bills here, our good friends at Morgan & Morgan, the number one injury law firm in all of America for a reason. It's because they win. Tell you about the family in PA that was initially offered $650,000. They ended up getting nearly $30 million in settlement. Or how about the family down in Florida, $350K? They got nearly $12 million in settlement. Folks, family-owned, family-run. Do me a favor. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. Do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Mm-hmm. Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
What a day. I wonder what the fallout is going to be now. And by the way, I wonder if this accelerates the AJ Brown conversation. And I wonder how much this now, again, I don't care who you are. Much of this stuff was started because of AJ and his dislike for the offense. Now, how about this? You know, I mean, if you're AJ Brown, do you sit around and wait and see what happens with Hurts? Or maybe they get a new quarterback. Maybe that changes the room for him. Right? Sills, need to do a show from a sports bar one time. Getting out of the Dan cave. Do you know how many people tell me that? Look at this. Big Sills to Bobby Heenan of Philly Eagles Sports Talk. Oh, man. Sills, if you tell your wife you're always right and keep score like you do these Eagle fans, I bet you sleep on the couch a lot. No. I've been right a ton, dude. 24 was my worst year. I was right in 21, 22, 23, and 25. Bang. Boom. Arm wrestling, man. Damn. I said you were one and done. Bang. I said your Keely bingo stinks. Bang. All them Timo signings were terrible. Bang. God, I was like a grand. I was Shohei Ohtani last year. Like Shohei Ohtani. Beta head coach. Not winning a Super Bowl? No. I said you were one and done. Still, serious question. Do you think the Eagles will make the playoffs this year regardless of what happens this offseason? No. I think you're an 8-win team. Here's your quarterback's numbers this year. $3,200 yards and 14 picks. Yeah. Oh, boy. You've been right about Jalen, got to admit it. Not my also. He's got that shit grin, eating grin today. Oh, man. I'm not baiting anybody. I'm not baiting anybody, dude. No, I was also wrong that Sam Darnold would never win a Super Bowl. Shit. I got those two wrong. You're right. I said Sam Darnold would never win, too. Dang. Hurts and Darnold, I said would never win. Crazy, huh? Shows you what mediocrity can do. I thought Jalen had a good year last year. Of course you did. And that's why they fired every offensive coach. So wait a minute. They fired every offensive coach and they had a good year. And they're going to change the offense because he had a good year. Okay. Yeah, okay. Hey, that's a lot of sense. You want me to keep going? Extend the show for 4 Keep going. What do you mean? Bro, I'm dead on about your boy. I blame A.J. Barkley in the O-line. I know you do. You never blame Hurts, ever. You're a Jalenite. Great show, Sells. As always, appreciate you, buddy. Later, everyone. New Jersey fishing maniac, you are my boy. Yeah, condescending Sills is never good, is it? Oh, by the way, one last thing here. Hey, Philly media, taking a shit on Harry Callis, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Not defending that. Here, I'll be here for you. I'll continue to bring that up. So you don't defend a guy who's the most popular dude in the history of Philly sports, Harry Callis. Baiting, not baiting. Baiting, not baiting. You mook, Miami education. Thank you very much. Happy mook. I appreciate it. Hey, way to go, man. Got to tell you, really wonderful move by not defending. Hey, WIP, you're the flagship of the Phillies. Act like it. Actually, you're the flagship of the Philly fans. Why don't you act like it ever? And defend the fans for one of the greatest dudes that's ever been in Philadelphia sports. No way. You know why? You're cowards. All right. 2 to 6 tomorrow. We appreciate each and every single one of you. Hit the like button on the way out. We'll catch you on the flip side.